right, bless up, bless up, bless up. Greetings, 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 greetings. Wagwan. Bridget, I see you. You're in the building. Raymond McFarlane, big up yourself. Ruel, what's going on? Sir Max. So Ruel is in the building. Man. Godfrey, what's going on? Sharon. Who else we got? Who else we got? Who else we got? South Kiki, KK West, what's going on, sweetheart? It's been a good New York minute. Tracy, how you doing? Novlet McCallum, big up yourself. Steve Nugent, what's going on? Greetings, 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 and peace profound. They say positive vibrations and positive sounds. I greet you well, y'all. Y'all go ahead and share this program, no? Tell a friend, tweet a friend, tell a friend we're on, we're live. What happened on in St. Elizabeth? Northeast. What's going on down there? I gather Zalika Jess has defeated the mighty Kern Spencer. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Yeah, the mighty Kern Spencer, who everybody thought had the ground lock, was defeated by the lady from out of town, they say. They say she's from out of town. She came in and she took control. Yeah. But greetings, everybody. Welcome to the block. This is yours truly, sitting around the golden microphone with half my brains behind my back and a bunch of Eddie Siaga's budget speech keeping my company. You see these? This is the budget presentation for 1992-1993. Yeah. This is 1991-1992. Yeah. That's Edward Philip George. Yeah. So y'all know what time of day it is, right? You remember Hugh Lawson Shearer? Boom. Hugh Lawson Shearer budget presentation, 1992-1993. Phone a friend there for me now. Phone a friend named Darlanade Francis. Anybody can find him? Who can find him? There's a budget speech by Eddie Siaga, which was back in the 1970s. Share the wealth. Share the wealth. I want to find that budget speech because I want to talk about it. But lots of things happening down there in Northeast St. Elizabeth. And everybody knows that Northeast St. Elizabeth has a very special place in my heart because that's where I call home. Yes, Marcia Payton, big up yourself. Yes, Northeast St. Elizabeth is where I call home. Love that place. But I gather that the man who wanted to unseat Gary Slowly was defeated in a runoff against Zalika Jess. Now, that's going to make for some interesting politics going forward. Anybody remember this book? The Road Not Taken. Yes. If you haven't yet read this book, you need to. Colin Morgan Dennis, The Road Not Taken. It's books like these. Why y'all need to be very careful of the decisions you make. The political decisions you make in voting. Books like these should help you to guide you and to give you a better perspective on Jamaican politics. Well, call a friend, no? Tweet a friend, tell a friend we're live. Miss Jean, Miss Joan, good to see you. Before we get into the rumbling and tumbling and telling you guys what's on my mind, let me say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. You know, Father's Day is not one of the most celebrated holidays, and that's going to make for a good debate as to why it's like that. But as we know it, holidays, Father's Days is not one of the best and the most celebrated holidays in Jamaica, and there's a lot of reasons why. But oh, can I tell you? So I'm reading the title on the show for this evening that says "Open Mic with Viewers," and it says all viewers can join as long as you have a good camera and mic quality. You know who did all that technical work in the back? My 11-year-old Christian. So officially, he's my technical operator. Mavis McPherson. Miss McPherson, that name is very, very familiar. That McPherson name is very familiar, and I hope it's the McPherson that had a lot to do with Jipe. I hope so. But clarify. Darlan H. Francis from Western St. Andrew is in the building, my good friend. I hope he will get his background ready, and I hope he will join us, because we're going to talk about some things that might need his input. But I saw that name just now, and I'm trying to make sure that it's the right person. Mavis McPherson, big up yourself. Good to have you. Mark Nation, good to see you as well. Navlet McCallum, big up yourself. Fabian Lewis, my brother, big up yourself. Good to see you. Share the program. Tell a friend. We're on about at 50. We're right at 50 right now. And you all know that when we get to 100 is where we get fired up and ready to go. Thank you, Patroy. Thank you, Patroy. Good to see you as well. Thank you for your assistance, helping us to get this thing right. Bartley, Swaby, pick up yourself. Central St. Mary is in the building. Good. Tell us where you're coming from, and we can big up your town. My good friend, Kevin Belnavis, big up yourself, Kevin. Good to see you always, man. It's always a pleasure. Fitzroy Brooks, good to see you. Share the program. Tell a friend, tweet a friend, tell them we're live. Post it on your broadcast list. Put it on your pages, whether it's your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It doesn't matter. Share the program. Let's get us up to 100 real quick so we can get cracking. Hubert Brown, big up yourself, Hubert. Good to see you as well. Hubert is in South Manchester. So Manchester is in the building. Sir Brooks, big up yourself. Keisha Mack is in the building as well. Wow, some famous people are coming through tonight. What's up? Is it that you heard that Karen Spencer lost to Jess, and now Delroy slowly is running wild? Is that true? Oh boy. Pamela, good to see you as well. Yes, folks, share the program. We're around about at 60. We're climbing real quick. We move from 40 to 60 in record time. Go ahead and share the program. Kingsley Clark, you are in Northeast St. Elizabeth. You might be one of the best person to come on here and tell us what's going on. There's a link in the chat, folks. There's a link in the chat that takes you right into the studio here so we can talk and you can give us your perspective on whatever we're talking about. Central St. Mary, the home of the great Robert Bobby Montague, chairman for life. Yes, big up yourself. Big up yourself, Marcia. Good to see you. Representing from St. Mary. Oh no, St. Mary Central. Sorry, I thought you was from Western St. Mary. The Honorable Robert Montague is from Western St. Mary. Big up yourself, though, Marcia. You're Central St. Mary. Good to see you. You need that? You need that? The current MP is not going back? Wow, okay. Okay, all right. Alexandra Schrock, my friend, it's been a long while. Happy Father's Day to you, my brother. I hope New York is treating you well. I trust that yourself and your family is doing well, my brother. Good to see you. It's been a while. Trudy and Francis, good to see you. Welcome. Orlando Peters, down in the west side. The west side, the best side, they say. Good to see you as well. Garth, my friend, original Sir Fenton. Good to see you, man. Horace Nelson, big up yourself. Who's that? Udetha Brown? Welcome. We're at 60. Bring us up to 100. Share the program. Tell a friend. Tweet a friend. Tell a friend we're on. We're live. This book, I tell you, The Road Not Taken by Colin Morgan Dennis. Y'all remember this book, right? We brought this book to the fold about 5 years ago and sold out. And we're going to bring this book back because it's important for persons to understand. Your past and your history is what shape your future. Devon Dyke, big up yourself. Horace Nelson, big up yourself. Your past is what shape your future. A lot of persons hate to talk about their past because for various reasons. But I tell you, it's an important vehicle to carry you into your future. There's a couple of things that's on my mind. And let me see if I can go through them real quick. One of them is this constant bickering all over the place, you know. Bickering. Yes, I know. Somebody, well, you guys need to, Steve, you need to tag him on you need to tag Abka Fitzenley. And you guys go and tell him that he's needed over here. Please, starting with you, Steve Nugent. Let us get him over here. Eh? That would be a good one. We want to hear from Abka. So, Steve, you go ahead and send him a message from me, and see if we can get him over here. That would be a very good discussion. I had invited him just to say, just to let y'all know, guys. I did offer an invitation to the great man himself. Oh, there you go. I did offer an invitation to the great man himself, Abka. And I don't want to say it yet, but he might be joining us. But it would be good if you would send him a message, folks, and tell him he's needed on the block. Mario Hall, good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Daniel McFarlane, happy holidays. Happy Father's Day to you. And happy Father's Day to CC Vickers down there in Central Westmoreland, the home of the man himself, George Wright. Yes. Amy Sinclair, good to see you. Lily Ross, good to see you. Yes. Tag, send a tag and tag Abka Fitzelli on Twitter for me now, and see if we can get him to join us. It would be really a good thing to get him in here so we can talk about his stellar maiden and stellar presentation in the Senate last Friday. That was indeed a classic one coming from Abka. He ripped into the heart and soul of some of these folks who who believe that they're a paragon of virtue. I sent him a link. I hope he'll be able to join us. Yeah, I hope he'll be able to join us. That would be so good. Yeah, so APCA's maiden presentation in the Parliament, in the Senate, sorry, was on Friday. And if anybody was wondering what APCA's contribution to the Senate is going to be like, his presentation would have spoke to that in a very, very strong way. Bridget, share the program. Tell your friend we're at 81. We're looking for 100. Steve, I know you can. Yes, he told it straight, Steve. And that was something that we appreciate. The man himself, I hope Patrol will be able to get Darlan H. Francis up in this joint here. He's trying to come on live. Let's see if we can get him in now. Darlan H. Francis, the man himself. Yes. So Darlan, you have that link in your in your chat. So whenever you're ready to join us, please feel free. But guys, there's a link in the chat. If you want to join the conversation later on, we'll open the mic up. You can come forward and join us. Angela, Rose, big up yourself. NB is in the building. Original NB is in the building. But I said to you folks, the road not taken. Not going to leave this book. I had about 20, 30 copies of these. I gave them all away. And I still have a couple of copies to give to a couple of very important people. And I'm going to give away one tonight. But this book, Road Not Taken by Colin Morgan Dennis, is a must read. And one of the reasons why I'm going back to this book is because of its importance to Jamaica's political history. This book speaks some facts, and some facts that some people are uncomfortable with. But here's what I want to talk to you about. So we're still at 91. We're looking for 100. So let's just wait on that 9 more, 10 more. Let's wait on that, and we get to 100. We kickstart. But I want to tell you some things that is happening out there that sometimes pains my heart. Adrian Bent, big up yourself. Good to see you. Claudette Wright, good to see you. Howard Hansen, big up yourself. Shaneth, what's going on with you? Good to see you as well. But share the program, tell a friend. We got 4 more to go. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are some of the most, we have some of the most the link is in the chat there, Darlan H. Francis. Darlan is asking for the link. The link is right there. It's in the chat. It's posted right now. If you see it, it's under the Chops Media post. That Yard Stream link, it takes you right in here. We are at 100. We are clocking away, and quite certain that you guys are going to get some numbers. Listen, there's another online program, that has sold their soul to the devil over on that side. And some of the times I'm a little bit disappointed. Apart from you guys here now, who are genuine grassroots supporters of the chopping block from day one, from 2015, we've been doing this. And you guys are loyal supporters. Apart from you, the rest of the JLP supporters, you know where they are. You can find them on a daily basis. You can find them on a daily basis over one part, round one part, round one place, round the sun. I guess them probably have a hand in the partner. I will say no more. That's their ground. That's their stamping ground. So let me just pause again for a moment and say, for you guys who have consistently supported the chopping block non-stop from day one, big up on yourself. Love and respect to you all. It doesn't matter how long we break from the program. Every single time we come back, you guys are always consistently here to give us the support and the motivation to keep on speaking the truth where Jamaican politics is concerned. So I respect you guys. I adore what you guys do, and we appreciate you. Jovi, big up yourself. Pamela, big up yourself. We don't take this for granted because you guys could have easily been over there, round one part, round Dessa, looking for your partner, draw, but you're not there. You're here. And we appreciate you. It is so unfortunate sometimes when you look and you realize the sort of support people get when they sell them soul to the devil. But we don't sell our soul. We gotta remain right there, so with our Selena, our Michael Coleman, our Orlando Peters, our Sharon Davis, our Pamela Lodge, and all you beautiful people. Denzel Myers, I haven't seen Denzel in a minute. Denzel, folks, Denzel is one of the foundation members as well. Foundation people, everybody I'm looking at here, except for a very few, are majority foundation members. Right? We see Norman Brown. Sir Norman Brown is in the building. Let us big him up. And these are people who stay connected at this level and give us a lot of support as it relates to the contents we provide and the sort of discussion that we engage in. Denise Johnson, big up yourself. You're always here as well. Joshua James. There's one or two names here that are not part of the original chopping block people. So you guys, 110, 115 of you here now. And we don't take you for granted. We love and respect and appreciate you. Because like I said, you could have been elsewhere. Right? But you are here. No. Steve. Yes, Abka hit them real hard. We're trying to get him on. We don't know if he's gonna find some time. You know, his Sunday evening was a little bit hectic, so we're gonna try nonetheless to see if we can get him on here. Darlan H. Francis, if Patroy can give him the link and see if she can get him in here. Daniel McFarlane, you've been here from day one, man. I mean, you're one of the foundation chopping block supporters. You've never jump fence, and that's why our success is hinged on you guys. We really appreciate you. Mikey Coleman, big up yourself, my brother. Big up yourself. But yes, so anyhow, number one, breaking news essay, right? So the contest down in Northeast St. Elizabeth, of course, you all know that Zalika Jess was going up against Kern Spencer to be the standard bearer for the People's National Party down in Northeast St. Elizabeth. Kern Spencer, who most would have assumed would have won that race, surprisingly lost to Zalika Jess. And of course, you know, Zalika Jess was one of those persons who made her debut down in Clarendon Central, where she wanted to go up against Mike Henry. Now she is in St. Elizabeth, and based on the result of today's runoff, she'll be going up against the Jamaica Labour Party Member of Parliament, Delroy Slowly. What does that mean for the Jamaica Labour Party down in Northeast St. Elizabeth? Yes, it's quite an interesting fit there. A lot of persons would think that Kern Spencer, being someone who is on the ground, resides in the constituency or in the parish and does business there and is more familiar than just, you wonder why with a 60% turnout in the voters, Jess would have taken it. It also speaks to how the Jamaica Labour Party campaign in that constituency is going to be shaping up, because Delroy Slowly haven't approached his politics in a very unique way. and who has been a very consistent philanthropist in the area, and is definitely through his philanthropist work that he would have um, moved into politics. Notwithstanding that, we would have to look and take a good look at how he chooses to shape his political campaign. Zalika just comes to that constituency with a lot of connection throughout the People's National Party. And when I say connection, I'm talking about the inner workings of the party. She has a very good access to that. And not that that could pose some challenge for Gary Slowly. What it will do, it will definitely take him out of his comfort zone, because the approach that the Slowly camp would have taken going into the last general election in 2020 would not be, or in 2016, would not be the approach needed to go up against Azalika Jess. It's gonna require a different approach, and we're hoping that his team down in Northeast St. Elizabeth, he has a very capable team. He has a sitting councillor in Chris Williams. Chris Williams has been a councillor for many years and would have understand the ground. He controls the only seat, the only division that the JLP has in Northeast St. Elizabeth is the Santa Cruz division, which is controlled by Christopher Williams. He has a couple of caretakers in the form of Valdino Peng, part of his management team, who assumed leadership for one of the divisions down there. I think he's at the Siloa division. He also has another caretaker down in Balaclava, a gentleman named Mitch, a businessman in the community. He also have a lot of work to do. And he has another caretaker, very popular caretaker, perhaps the stronger of the three, who would have been Kirk Rodney. Kirk Rodney was the constituency caretaker at some point, and he's now the caretaker for the Braze River division. The Braze River division is one of the divisions that did very well in 2016 in reducing their numbers. An interesting thing about Braze River division in Northeast St. Elizabeth is that Braze River has never been won by the JLP, even at a time when the Jamaica Labour Party would have swept the entire parish and the entire country back in 1980. Braze River was one of those constituencies that stood their ground and stuck with the People's National Party right throughout. I see my good friend Darlan H. Francis is coming in. We're going to try to bring him in as soon as possible. So that's what's happening down there in Northeast St. Elizabeth. So Mr. Slowly would have 4 divisions, and 3 of which is fitted with caretakers, and 1 has a sitting councillor. So he has a team of 4 divisional leaders who is quite capable of providing the necessary support that he would need to craft a very effective campaign to go up against Zalika Jess, who is coming out of Clarendon. Area Council 4, of course, is 5 parishes. I mean, Area Council 4 consists of Trelawney, St. Elizabeth, Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. James. And I will say to you folks that while Area Council 4 control all the constituencies, they're all sitting MPs. You have the like of Gary Slowly down in, you have in St. Elizabeth, all seats belonging to the JLP. In Trelawney, all seats belonging to the JLP. In St. James, all seats belonging to the JLP. In Westmoreland, all seats belong to the JLP. And in Hanover, all seats belonging to the JLP. No, you'll hear whispering all over town, people complaining and carrying on as though the JLP is on the back foot and the JLP is under pressure. How can it be under pressure from a disjointed People's National Party that cannot even find a qualified process to select a candidate to compete? How? But these things happen because you have a voting population out there who is timid and who is being fed a steady diet of negativity against the JLP. Some of these negative things is coming from their propaganda machine, which is fueled by artificial intelligence. Dr. Tufton mentioned that a week or so ago, and a lot of persons were like, wow. But it's factual. We ply our wares. We are on social media. We know what is happening on social media. And we are confirming that the People's National Party has invested a significant amount in their social media campaign, which is spearheaded by the utilization of artificial intelligence to spread their message. Their message, in most cases, is just PNP propaganda. And we say that without any fear of contradiction or any fear of apologies. It happens and it is there. And we should call it like we see it. Darlan H. Francis, my friend.
Chopper, let me have some feedback. If I find disturbing, you guys.
No, yes, it is. And you need to.
All right,
You're lying down, man. You have to get it right there, my brother. So while we get Darlan H. Francis situated, we're going to bring him back online. I want him to come through so we can talk a little bit about what's happening in our Western St. Andrew. And we also want to talk about some trend in the politics. Yes, so, yeah, the propaganda machine is being fueled by those folks. You know, one of the things I take away from Apka Fitzhenley's presentation, Darlan, and I see Darlan is on our screen. Darlan, if you can rotate your phone, it would be great. I think it would fill the screen and would probably...
Can I
there you go. That's much better. That is much better. Yes.
All right, good.
But Darlan, you've been doing this for years now, man. You need to prop your phone up on something, man. Come on. Prop your phone up on something so we can have a good discussion and can free up yourself and look good on the screen. But yes, but keep your phone that way and just prop it up on something and we'll bring it back on. But folks, because I want you to be presentable, Darlan, the People's National Party who sometimes can't even find a candidate to match up to any of our own. And you hear Labour out there talking some nonsense sometimes that you have to wonder. Oh, are we going to win the next election? Oh, things are rough. Things are rough everywhere in the world. Things are rough everywhere in the world. But Jamaica has managed to steady itself and to keep itself in a way that we can weather the storm. Jamaica's position today, economically, is among the best in the Western Hemisphere. How can one overlook that? How can one overlook that? Why aren't we hearing people talking about this? Are you telling me Laborites who are complaining about nothing and go on? Let me ask you this. The unprecedented numbers of low unemployment that we have in this country. Are you saying to me that is only comrades who are benefiting from the employments in this country? I don't understand that. The hundreds of persons who have exited this country on farm work program in Canada and the United States are not Labour Party people. They're not Jamaicans. I don't understand that. But being as it is, you know, you're always going to have that. And that's why I said to you, some of those comments you're seeing out on social media, challenging and ridiculing and complaining and attacking the government, Darlan, they are not genuine people who have genuine and legitimate concerns. It's not. Most of those persons you see out there are paid individuals who are paid to do these little vox pops, to do these little videos, and to feed them on social media. They are what you call in the cyberspace bots. And that's just the reality. I don't know of any PNP who can challenge that because it's a fact. I know individuals who are Labour Party supporter, Labour Party voter, who have taken money from PNP to do little snippets of ads and negative comments out there on social media. So I'm not saying something that I don't know. I know this. It happened. They are investing a lot of money, and these guys have money. Don't believe and underestimate the power of their money. Right? They have money. Mr. Ron Taylor, big up yourself. Adrian Bent, good to see you as well. They have money. Clifford Cooper, big up yourself. Huntley Davis, big up yourself. And Boss Lady, big up yourself. Yeah. Darla, when you're ready for us, let us know. We'll bring you back on live. But listen, man. This bickering and complaining is something that we have to start to examine it and not get carried away by it. You guys are on social media. We're all on social media. We have to now start understanding how to manage the contents on social media, because it's a very toxic environment, darling, where information and some of the information that you're getting out there is false and fictitious information, and one has to possess the ability to go through them and make sure that they are actually correct and factual. Darlan Francis, my friend, my partner in not crime, my partner the block.
partner in communication.
There you go.
Yeah.
I trust that all is well with you, my brother.
Yeah.
Give
thanks.
Give thanks. Well,
for the Cleveland Father's Day, you know, with the kids them calling in, you know.
Yes.
Well,
I'm happy. I'm happy. My son is here. He's in Jamaica, and we're having a very good time. So we're happy for that. He was the one who, according to him, he did my technical setup here. I just came in and sit down. He did all the lighting.
Is that bigger boy now?
Absolutely. 11 going on 20. Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
I know what a bright film.
Brilliant. I didn't touch his computer. I didn't touch it. All I did was come, sit down, and go. He did all that setup. I'm so proud of him.
That's good.
Yeah, but Calvin Nicholson, big up yourself. Sade, big up yourself. Kenil, big up yourself. And of course, Bridget is here. Sunny Days, big up yourself. So a good influx of our hardcore members are here. Guys, please share the program, tell a friend, tweet a friend, and tell a friend we're live. And we have our good friend Darlan H. Francis here with us. Darlan, I was pointing out to folks, and I'm going to give away another copy of this book, The Road Not Taken by Colin Morgan Dennis. And I am also going to give away one of these budget presentation from Edward Philip George Siaga.
I hope it's the 1969 one.
I know you're looking for the 1969 one, which is the one that says
Shared Wealth.
The Shared Wealth. And I'm going to find it. I'm going to audialize it. I'm going to put it on here so persons can view it. Persons can read it and get a full understanding. Because guys,
people need to know that all of the things that Michael Manley is being praised for was advanced by Edward Siaga in 1969.
Yes. Why are we poor? Let's remember this one, Darlan. This is 1999 to 2000. Why are we poor? Why are we poor? This was Edith Siaga's budget presentation, 1999, into 2000. Very interesting read, guy. When you read these things, you understand why we are who we are. And
but I'm surprised my idol never know why we are poor, why we were poor then.
Well, I think he knew, but in this budget presentation, he would have break it down so that everyone could understand. Anthony Evening, my brother, good to see you, sir. I hope Mr. Evening is doing well, and all the folks over there in Havendale is doing well. Blessings on you. Good to see you, sir. Yes, Darlan. I think.
Yeah, we had no reason to be poor. At that time, we shouldn't have been poor. But the reason why we're poor is because we have a party called the People's National Party that fight to get power. And when they get power in this country, all they do, they just run the country down, right? And that is the main reason why Jamaica is poor. We're poor because of the People's National Party.
But why? But if we're poor because of the People's National Party, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here with you. If we are poor, happy Father's Day again to all the fathers. I trust that you guys are all doing well and are in the best of health and enjoying your family, your kids, and doing great. Darlan, I want to play the devil's advocate with you, because if it is that the reason Jamaica is poor or have been poor is because of the People's National Party, I'd love for you to break that down for us. And I want you guys to listen to Darlan. We're going to give you the rein, Darlan, to talk to us and to come forward, man. Come forward and tell us.
I'll appreciate that. Well, you know, after we got independence in 1962, and the first 10 years were our best 10 years. With the last 5 on a share, was most scholars and analysts have determined that those were the best 5 years in the history of Jamaica, right? So we were there going great guns. We were building up the school system in Jamaica. The high school system, the junior secondary part of it was built almost exclusively by Shearer and the Labour Party. We were developing the country, how country should be developed. Water systems, roads, hospitals, all the things that make a country great. For 20 years in 1960, in the 60s, Jamaica per capita GDP was ahead of Singapore. And that is why Lee Kuan Yew came to Jamaica to see what Jamaica was doing. We were beating Singapore for 2 years. I think it was 64 and 65 or somewhere thereabout, right? And he came to see what we're doing. On top of all of that, we had average annual growth of 6%. That's average per capita GDP growth of 6%. In 1970, we grew by almost 12%, right? On the Shearer, we were opening a factory every month. Shearer had that distinction. He opened a factory every month during his time as Prime Minister. When Shearer was done, we had, I think it was 230 factories working in Jamaica, right? We had industrial estates like Twickenham Park in St. Catherine, where Berwick factory was established, which was closed under PNP. We had
Colgate Palmolive.
Well, Colgate Palmolive was at Tinson Pen. That was the first industrial estate that the JLP built. It was Tinson Pen.
Nugget Palmolive.
The whole of Hashinine Road was industrialized under Buster and the Labour government, right? And then after they built Tinson Pen Industrial Estate, they went and built Nance Pen non-spending industrial estate was where Massey is now. I think Massey is headquartered in a building that used to host holiday luggage. We used to make our own suitcases in Jamaica. Top of the line suitcase too. And they were being made in non-spend industrial estate. So we had things to spend that was built by Buster, but non-spend built during Shearer time. Then you had Albion Industrial Estate out in St. Thomas, built during Shearer time. There was also Bogue Industrial Estate in St. James. So we were going great guns. We were beating Singapore. Singapore came to learn from us, right? And what happened? The PNP, they're hungry for power, and they use a playbook then that you're trying to use now. And I'm very pleased when I keep tuning in and hear you talking about the road not taken, because we need to look back. The further back we look, the further we will see, we will understand how PNP work and try to neutralize the design that they have. So going through that great period of development from 1967 to 72, the PNP all they did was to try to figure out how to wrest power from the JLP. And they devised a strategy. It was the strategy to allege corruption. And that strategy has been there for them, and it worked for them. And it is the same playbook they come to know. But they allege corruption. And Michael was such a dishonest man. Did you know that in 1970, he called a press conference and present to the press conference a document that was purportedly signed by Johnny Giles, that was Shearer Minister of Agriculture, right? And this was supposed to be a document signed with a British company. And of course, it was all rifled with corruption. And Michael came and presented this document. It was called the Sikale Affair, right? And Johnny Giles said, I don't know nothing about that document. That document is a total lie. And he used handwriting expert, more than one. Handwriting experts were used to determine that Johnny Giles' signature was forged. You understand? And then, and this is for my party, because that should have destroyed Michael. But Michael should not have become prime minister after he tried that lie. But nevertheless, they went ahead and they censured him in Parliament. All he had was a censure. Somebody should have had to be charged for forgery. But that never happened, right? He was censured. Michael came and said he thought, he did it believing that whoever gave him the document, it was true, and he was doing it in the best interest of the country. People, if only the good Lord can come down and tell me that it was not Michael who concocted that lie. Only God can come tell me that. And right after that, the Sikale affair, they went into the missing school, the two missing school. Now, Shearer was there building school left, right, and center. Some of the best schools were built by Shearer during that period of time.
We still enjoy those schools today. And I see Garfield Reed, my good friend over there in Florida is on. Big up yourself, Garfield. Good to see you. And we know you have a very strong opinion where this whole diaspora argument is concerned and this whole Michael Manley argument is concerned. But we would invite you to join the program. There's a link. You can join. If you want to have a discussion with Darlan H. Francis, please feel free to do so. But don't hide behind your microphone, my brother, behind your laptop and squeal. Come forward and defend your position on the issue and the stuff that Darlan H. Francis is outlining now, which constitutes some of the atrocities that were committed back in the 1970s. And he's saying to us why we are poor. Some of what you're describing here, Darlan, is sort of consistent with now the today's People's National Party. The allegations of corruption.
Yes, it's in their DNA. It's baked in their DNA. It is a strategy that has paid dividends for them. And they go back to that playbook time after time after time. And I believe the road will run out now because we have a more nimble PR now. We have a young man, a young minister there now with on the ball, and he's doing a fine job. And I really admire the way he go about things because he's not afraid to invite people to, suggest, give ideas. And he's demonstrating that he's learning the thing, and we're going to respond to it. And I can tell you, in Eddie's Yaga language, when he's talking patois, it not gonna work. It not gonna work this time, right? Well, anyway,
yes, go ahead.
But just to continue, right after the Sikali affair, the man come up, the man go forge a document, and about somebody give it to him. Forge a document, total lie, concocted to disgrace Johnny Giles and the JLP government, right? And the people handwriting expert proves that the thing was a forgery. And all the Jamaican government did was to censure the man in parliament, right? And the sound wave never done reverberating before it came back with the missing schools. Mm-hmm. Now, the missing schools are another allegation of corruption, right? And quickly, the missing school thing, Shera decided to build 50 secondary school using World Bank loan, $6 million World Bank loan to build 50 secondary school, right? Because that agreement was signed, I think it was 1967 or 66, 67. And then we changed currency in 1969. Right? We moved from pound, shilling, and pence to dollar and cents.
$1 cents. Yes.
Right. But the legislation which gives authority to that transaction was passed from 68. So from 1968, January 1968, the legislation was passed. So from 1968, the Jamaica people, the whole monetary system knew that the conversion was going to come, and there was going to be some devaluation as a result of that.
Good.
You understand?
Well, go ahead. Because we're going to take a quick break. We have to pay some bills, right?
I'm glad you can pay the bills.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna bring on our good friend Mr. Garfield Reed. And Garfield seemed to want to challenge some of what you're saying. Not so sure, but Garfield is a man.
I welcome that.
So stick and stay, guys. When we come back, we'll have Garfield Reed joining us. I hope he is ready to take on the man himself, Darlan H. Francis. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
It's time to come back. Back to adventurous. Being curious. spontaneous. Back to where it all began. Dare to be bold, to be fantastic. Come back to the vibe that comes alive in Jamaica. We'd like to invite you to come back. Back to playful. Back to adventurous. Back to, back to the little things that can have a big impact. It's time. Come back to the way you always imagined it in Jamaica.
Greetings, Nalda Addy here, and today we're in the streets of Jamaica trying to find out whether or not the people know what the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is responsible for. Let's find out. Alright, my G, so what is the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation responsible for?
Getting jobs for people and see to it that the country run right, and see to it that everything the best of health and wealth.
Really and truly them response to everything though, Magina. Everything them response, I know.
Apparently, I think our house and water car, you don't know.
If I'm going to buy a house, I know that them can help me to get all my land title.
Yeah, man, that is correct because they're responsible for the National Land Agency, so you're most definitely correct. Respect.
That is Andrew Holness Ministry now.
Yes, it is.
Then he responds for development and housing.
They have to deal with like Port Authority or climate change and planting trees or them some of them.
The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is responsible for implementing policies through its key portfolio areas, including housing, urban renewal, environment, climate change, works, water, land, and economic policy and investment. Visit www.megjc.gov.jm to learn more. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at megjc_jm.
All right, so thank you for sticking and staying with us, guys. We have Darlan H. Francis. He is the divisional, well, he's a constituency caretaker. He's a constituency caretaker for Western St. Andrew. And we're going to bring on screen here our good friend Garfield Reid. Garfield, if you turn your phone landscape, you would be in a better position, and you perhaps, there you go. And you can fill the screen much better. Darlan H. Francis, I don't know, but Garfield, you're no stranger to the block. You need to come forward, man. Come closer to us, man. Come closer to us.
All right.
Don't off in the back there. Come closer to us, man. All right. So, Garfield, I gather you want to challenge Darlan H. Francis and some of the information he's putting out there that is painting a picture of the People's National Party being consistent in using propaganda and an allegation of corruption as a tool to destabilize government in Jamaica. What say you?
And doing power.
Well, Chopper, Mr. Francis, good evening, sir. Chopper, good evening. Thanks for the platform again. My argument is not so. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing.
Yeah, man. Mr. Francis, my argument is not so about fighting the fact that the PNP is not using corruption or propaganda information to gain state power. My argument today is about the first thing we hear about why the economy did not grow under the PNP. We always go back to the argument of Singapore, right? And I believe that argument is 100% BS to go back to that narrative. And I will explain why. Yes, Singapore did came to Jamaica. Singapore did copy the philosophy of Jamaica, the policies of Jamaica, and they took it back to Singapore.
The Jamaica Labour Party.
Yeah. Well, yes, the Labour Party. No problem. We all agree on that. But the mere fact of the matter, Jamaica is not ready to implement what Singapore has implemented. Jamaicans politicians should not be talking about the Singapore copy Jamaica Labour Party argument because the Jamaica Labour Party got back state power in 1980 and the Jamaica Labour Party did not put in the stringent measures. The judicial system that Singapore put in to control their people. But furthermore, fast forward, under your government, under the Trapper talk about destabilization, we must also admit that both parties, especially the Edward Seaga-led opposition, literally destabilized Jamaica where people suffer in reference to food coming into Jamaica along with his good friend Ronald Reagan. But nobody in the Jamaica Labour Party talk about that. All we talk about is a PMP propaganda. Wait.
Give me just a point of order. Mr. Moderator. Trapper.
Yeah, man, I'm here, man.
Yeah. Oh, you have to decide you're going to moderate. You're going to either give him X amount of time to talk, and then I will rebut.
He's rebutting a position you took earlier. So I'm allowing him to speak and to get his point across, and then you can come in and knock it out.
So how much time he's gonna get?
Well, we didn't have a couple minutes. So
the point is, I do not want his points to go unaddressed because there's a lot of false good in there. So I'd like to respond to them point by point.
No, you are stopping me now. But let me continue. And you took me off track. And that's what the labor rights normally do. That's what the labor rights normally do. Good for that. But what
I just raised on a point of order. I didn't mean to take you off track.
We're not in Parliament. But Dalton.
Well, no, we're debating. We're debating.
Yeah, we're not debating. It's a conversation. Good. But
whatever you call it, we need order.
We need order, correct. So what I am saying is that, right? Yes, but one thing I never hear the Jamaica Labour Party talk about is classism in Jamaica. One thing we have never hear the Jamaica Labour Party talk about, only brown people could have working at the bank. One thing I never hear the Jamaica Labour Party talk about, all the flight attendants and were brown people and white people. And that is what the inequality in Jamaica that created the demise of Jamaica, because there were certain people who were allowed to get certain benefits in Jamaica, certain type of loan that he or she can go to school. We have never talked about the balance, the balance of the playing field that the People's National Party implemented, that everybody like Chopper Good Friend, a man like Cliff Hughes, could have gone to university and gain an education.
When you hear the bell.
All right. Give me a chance to respond.
Edward Seaga destabilized Jamaica and poor people were suffer. And when he won the election in 1980, tons and tons of food were dumped in the same Kingston Harbour and dumped in the garbage at River.
All right. Let me respond to that.
Give Darlan a chance to respond to that now.
Let me respond to that. I want to respond to that allegation about Seaga sabotaging.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Under Michael Manley, we were not able to buy all the things we need. We couldn't even buy oil. Right? When Eddie Seaga took over, all he had was $12 million to buy oil. Oil tanker used to come and wasn't docking because there was no money to pay for it. The point is, we did not have enough money under Michael Manley leadership to buy enough food. And when there's a shortage of food or water or anything in the world, anywhere in the world, people hoard. there's hoarding that takes place. It's a natural human instinct. Nobody knows how to organize it. You understand? So because
and a point of order, when Edward Siaga won the election in 1980, why is it that then the rich of Jamaica, the Chinese, the merchants of Jamaica were having all these warehouses of food that they had to dump? My own grandfather in Royal Flat, Manchester, were literally told to close his business place in Royal Flat, Manchester, because he himself was selling too much things coming from cash and carry.
Well, look, we need more particular than that. I can't accept that as evidence. That's hearsay as far as I care.
No,
but the point is, the point. No. Here's the point. Here's the point. Here is the point.
Deal with the classism in Jamaica.
Here's the point. No. I need to address the food thing, because, as I say, when food gets scarce or anything gets scarce, rationing take place and hoarding take place. Those are natural instinct. And you cannot deny the fact that Michael Manley never have enough money to buy food and medicine for the country.
There is no doubt about that.
There was a limit. They were limited with money.
Why was that? Because our international partners did not want to trade with Jamaica because of the destabilization that your opposition leader led.
All right, so hold on a second. Let me just put some things in perspective here. One of the hallmark of a good leader, it's his ability to steer a country or its people in the right direction. In 1972, when Michael Manley took office, he had a choice whether to side with the people of the West, meaning the United States, Canada, Britain, and all those countries. And his option was to, hold on a second, his option was to side with the USSR and Cuba. It was Michael Manley's own doing.
No, Chopper. At no time at all, Michael Manley said Jamaica was a communist system.
Slow down.
At no time at all.
Garfield.
At no time at all, Michael Manley said Jamaica was a communist system.
I am telling you, I put it to you. Garfield, slow down. I put it to you that when Michael Manley accompanied, along with a delegation from the People's National Party, accompanied Fidel Castro to the Kremlin, Castro spoke for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, on script, and introduced Michael Joshua Manley to speak.
Yeah.
And when Michael Manley spoke, Michael Manley said at the Kremlin that Jamaica will be the next communist state.
Put that on record.
Hold on a second. At the time, we were in the middle of a Cold War era, and the United States had CIA operatives all over. The CIA picked up that and took a decision to sideline Michael Manley because of his
destabilize the people of Jamaica.
Position he took.
And to destabilize the people of Jamaica.
He took that position.
No. There was no plan. Michael destabilized himself. Michael destabilized. Imagine. Look. The people of Puerto Rico voted to be part of America. And Michael Manley was basically telling the people of Puerto Rico that they were doing foolishness. They should not be supporting no imperialist America, right? So Michael Manley was pushing his nose into international business, and he was making choices that came back to hurt the interests of Jamaica.
You darn Darlan, and that is why I'm saying to Garfield that the hallmark of a good leader is his ability to steer a country and its people in the right direction. Those traits Michael Manley did not possess in the 1970s, and as a result, between 1972 and 1974, we went broke. You cannot stick it to the United States and expect to win. And I'll tell you why. Today in 2023, Jamaica is faced with similar socio and similar global geopolitical problems. Take, for example, Darlan, the China-United States issue. It is similar to what exists then. What did Andrew Michael Wallace did? He didn't stuck it to the United States and say, to hell with you, I am with China. He didn't say, Michael Wallace didn't say, we are going to swim the seas of Asia with China. Like Michael Manley told the United States that he will climb to the mountaintop and follow Fidel. Those words are the words that Michael Manley used. And those words are the words that the CIA took and took a decision to protect their sovereignty.
But why is it that I ask the question again? Why is it that the destabilization of Jamaica by the CIA, led by your opposition leader, then Edward Seaga, why that the Jamaica Labour Party never want to talk about that and accept that?
What I'm talking about it now.
You tell me on whatever platform you have ever heard any prominent leader of the Jamaica Labour Party talk about the destabilization of Jamaica based on what the stance that Edward Seaga took. That
Wait, Chopper, let me answer this. That is because that was all made up crap.
That's not no made up crap.
That was made up crap. Seaga did not have to do anything. Michael did it all to himself.
No man, utter nonsense.
Michael sabotaged himself.
Am I going to sit here and say Michael Manley never make any mistakes? No, I am going to tell you Michael Manley make a lot of mistakes. But what I can tell you, the mistakes of Michael Manley made, what the Jamaica Labour Party did with that, the Jamaica Labour Party spin the mistakes of Michael Manley and spin an argument that Jamaica is going communism. And I want you to go into the archives of the JBC, the RGR, the two major news stations of Jamaica at the time, and go back in the archives of Jamaica House, because the records are there, and ever see there where we say when this Cuban ambassador was in Jamaica, I can't remember.
Estrada.
Yes. People stated when he used to hang out at the Sheraton in New Kingston, people stated that is where they are planning to go communism in Jamaica, which was utter nonsense. The Cuban people of Jamaica, the Cubans have given a lot of help to Jamaica, and we must appreciate that.
The Cubans didn't give any help to Jamaica. The help came from Russia.
Trevor, can you do anything about the audio?
To Russia, agree. All right, fine. Okay, but Cuba were our closest people, 90 miles. But let us deal with the classism that the Jamaica Labour Party created in Jamaica. The classism.
All right, let me hear
you on that.
Both of you are coming across good, Ardala. I don't know what's going on your end, but both of you are coming across good.
Let us deal with the classism that the Jamaica Labour Party implemented in Jamaica.
All right,
black man.
We also have
dark as you, Chopper. As dark as you couldn't go work at NCB Bank or Royal Bank, because you're too black. Remember that. And the people like Michael Manley.
Okay. Look.
A woman can go get maternity leave.
Yeah,
Hold
give
on,
me a chance.
Garfield.
Give me a chance
Garfield.
to.
Think about that.
Garfield.
Garfield, give me a
you got
chance to talk about that.
We could put some order into it now. We're joined by
Garfield.
Hold on a second, Garfield. Hold on a second.
Garfield.
Mr. Francis. Darlan, hold on
You're
a
trying
second.
to say that.
Just a moment, Darlan. Just a moment. We're joined by Michael Brown Sr., another one of our political
Another Labour,
commentators.
right? Just said that. Another Jamaican Labour Party supporter. Just make that statement clear. Just make that statement clear.
All right, Garfield. Look.
All right,
Garfield.
Garfield. Mr. Brown.
You seem to imply that saying that Michael was going communist was false allegation.
No, you are implying that Michael was.
No. Look,
right,
I am saying, and the Labour Party was saying that Michael Mann and the PNP was going communist.
Yes.
So what I'm asking you, if you are now saying that they were not,
definitely
and those were false allegations.
Definitely not. That was propaganda by Edward Seaga and friends.
By the way, do you know the PNP was formed?
They got a chance now.
The PNP was formed by groups in the society, right? And the three main groups that formed the PNP was the Jamaica Teachers Union, which is today's JTA, the Jamaica Farmers Union, and the National Reform Association, National Reform Association. It was a Marxist-Leninist outfit that was run by Frank Hill and Rupert Hart. They were communists. And that is why the PNP kicked them out. I think those 54, they kicked them out. But they were communists. And when Michael Mann declared democratic socialism in 1974, he said, when people challenged him and said that you did not tell the people that you were going socialism, and he said that he did not have to say they were going socialism because they did not say they were not socialists from their inception. In other words, they were saying at our inception, we were formed by socialists. We even had communists in our midst. And we did not say we were not. At no time did we say we were not socialists. So it's not nobody accusing Michael. Michael embraced that proudly.
And I
they
do
were
embrace
communists.
Socialism proudly.
They were communists. And the only reason why they did not go communist full is because the Labour Party did not allow it to happen.
All right, so hold on a second. Hold on a second. Folks, we did not bargain for a full-fledged debate, you know. And I don't want Garfield to come in here and think that Labourites are here to gang up on him. Because Garfield, I'm a friend. Good comrade. I'm a friend. And I don't want him to feel like he's being ganged by Labourites.
Not at all.
But let me hear, Michael Brown, let me hear your perspective on this whole conversation, no?
You see, well, let me say good evening again. I'm really surprised that people still peddling the same propaganda that they peddled in the 1970s about Seaga or his operatives having people, merchants, who would buy their goods to sell in their shops, buy that good, hide it to spite the government. That's foolhardy. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Because when a person buy their goods from a merchant, you know, whether Wissink or Grace Kennedy or so on, they have to pay for that. And to hide it until it's spoiled, to spite the government, how could Seaga have done that? Or could anybody have done that?
I could explain to you.
No, you don't have to explain it. It's nonsense.
Hold on a second.
Nonsense. The merchant themselves were paid. The merchant themselves were paid, sir. Just not to distribute the goods.
Not true.
So,
not true.
So
not
can
true.
I ask you then?
Chopper,
Can I ask you then?
If Eda Street could come back alive today, he would have said it.
Not true.
Chopper.
Yeah, I mean, many people are
Garfield.
saying it because they are peddling propaganda. How much money would Mr. Siaga have to pay
every shop owner in Jamaica?
The population was something like close to 2 million.
The Americans were here. The Americans were here. Money was flowing into Jamaica by the Americans, and you know, money was flowing into Jamaica. Money was coming into Jamaica by the Americans to pay for the destabilization of Jamaica. Why would all
right, so hold on a second, Garfield, hold on, Mikey.
Money was coming into Jamaica that the government didn't know about.
Exactly.
How that never mash up the economy?
To your opposition leader, Edward Siaga.
But hold on a second, Garfield. You're a man who delve into finances, and you know money, and you understand how the economy works.
Correct.
If money comes in a country that is unaccounted for, and it goes into the system, it causes.
No, the money didn't went in the central.
Hold on a second. It cause inflation. And it can blow up a country.
The money never go in the central bank.
So where did it go?
The money goes directly to your party, the Green Party behind you.
Oh, it never mash up the country.
And that is how it mashed up the country, and it mashed up the country where people
Garfield. I'm giving you a chance to make a point, but here's one of the things that we will not tolerate. You see, if you're going to have the discussion based on bullshit, we're not going to have it. You must come with facts. Don't come with propaganda. We're not going to have it.
Let me say something.
Let us have this conversation as intelligent, grown people.
Perfect. Okay, all right, good. Let us
support our arguments.
Let us deal with classes.
Let us deal with.
Let me say something here.
Go ahead, Michael.
1972, when the Shearer-led administration lost government.
Yes.
How much was the country growing at?
What year?
1972.
The country was growing at 18.01%.
Okay. What happened by 1974?
We went broke. That's our first IMF agreement.
Broke.
Totally broke. You want to ask another question? Why? Why? What caused that? The policies pursued between 1972 and 74, where Michael Manley distribute money that he didn't have.
And why Michael Manley were distributing money to the people of Jamaica, Chopper?
Because Michael Manley came in office with an agenda that says the people up top who have money must give half of it to the people at the bottom.
That is propaganda, no.
All right, so hold on a second.
That is the thing.
Hold on. All right, so let us forget about propaganda. Let us drill into the facts now of the economy. Darlene Francis, between 1972 and 1974, we went broke. What caused that?
Yeah, the emergency, the relief program implemented by Michael Manley, the popularly known as crash program.
Thank you, sir.
Where he set out to provide employment for 22,000 people.
And
every week 77,000 checks were drawn.
How much check?
77,000.
Garfield Reed, I want you to get out your notebook. Get your lead pencil.
77,000 checks were drawn every week.
Hold on. Because Garfield did not realize. Garfield,
hold on. The docket, but them getting paid.
Garfield, I want you to.
I agree with that. No. I agree.
Hold on, man.
I'm agreeing with that.
Hold on, Garfield. Hold on 1 second. We want to have the discussion. So the 200 and 300 persons watching us can leave here with factual information. Darlan, I'm going to go back over this again. 1972, the PNP came to office. Jamaica was growing at 18.01%. And by
and there was $132 million US dollar in reserve.
Yes.
132 million.
How much?
132 million US dollar in reserve.
And by 1974, what happened?
We are broke.
The country was broke. We got our first IMF. We got our first IMF agreement.
Hold on, Michael.
Did you know that we got our first IMF agreement in June 1973?
Yeah.
Why? Did you know that?
Because we were broke, we needed money, but
the PNP inherit a government with 132 million US dollars in reserve.
I agree. We were
paying our bills, and we never have any problem with money.
Hold on, Garfield.
The Jamaican people never know what foreign exchange mean.
So, Darlan, you spoke about. Hold on, Garfield. Hold on, Michael. Darlan, you spoke about the policies pursued by Michael Manley between 1972 and 1974 that wiped out all of that 18.01% growth and 138 million in the reserve.
32 million.
What policy was pursued?
Again, bad policy created that chopper.
Yes, so hold on, Mike. Hold on, Garfield. I do not want to leave here. Hold on, man. Hold on, gentlemen. Hold on, Garfield. I do not want to leave here with people hearing this argument about bad policy. I want them to hear what the policy was. Darlan and Francis, what policy did Michael Manley pursue between 1972 and 1974 that wiped out the country's economy?
Before you go there, Darlan.
Crash program.
Hold on. Before you go there, let me remind the audience that coming into 1972, the country was coming off a maturity of the bauxite companies. We had Alpart, Alcan, Alcoa, Riviere, Kaiser. I think there was another Alcan.
Kirkvine.
I think there was about 7 of them.
Kirkvine.
Yeah, man, there was Kirkvine and Yuatan.
Right.
You had Alpart and Riviere in St. Elizabeth. There was one named Reynolds. Right. So all the proceeds from all these companies were maturing. That is why the country could have built a lot of those schools that they built in the early 70s.
But hold on now, Mikey.
That's the kind of wealth
that we had.
That's the kind of wealth.
And thank you, Michael. Thank you for bringing that into perspective because it makes sense. But Darlan, I want you to go back to the policy that was pursued. You talk about some checks that were written. Talk to us about that some more.
Yeah. The initial program was to benefit 22,000 people, right? And then on a weekly basis, 77,000 checks were drawn.
So the program was hijacked.
And you had man like Federmap and Burboy. They were getting checks hand over fist.
True.
Right? And on top of that, Michael Manley thought in his wisdom, just like how he took on the international capitalists. He cussed out America, cussing out England. He also took on Jamaican entrepreneurs. He took on the businessmen in Jamaica.
And what they did?
He became anti-businessmen. And he expected the businessmen of Jamaica were going to sit down and produce so that he could continue to cuss them out. So because of that, business fold them on who could run. But then there was no production taking place. There was no economic growth. There was no revenue generation. So he was not able to find money to do the things he wanted to do. That is why when he announced free education to university, he was a fraud. He played on the Jamaica people. Because he had to go get IMF loan from 1973. So where was he going to get money from? To provide free education to university. He had no means of funding it. It was a con. Just like how Michael, you see like when him come with the Sikali affair, that was a con. When him come and talk about the 2 missing school, that was a con. You see when him come and say Selassie gave him a rod, that was a total lie. That was a con.
Let me remind
Michael was a con, the PNP was a con, and they still are.
Let me remind as well that Edwin Allen was the first person that proposed the free education in Parliament. And the bill was laid, I think it was in 68 or 69. But what happened is, it was there and being developed, but wasn't implemented, couldn't be implemented because there are certain things that had to be worked out. Mali took it and run with it. No pun intended.
Well,
just like how he ran with the bastard today.
Gentlemen, I think what we fail to establish, and I must tell you, somebody like a Michael Manley, I have the utmost respect for that Prime Minister. At my age, at 52 years old, because of certain policies that Michael Manley implemented, is why I probably can sit here in this couch here tonight. What I can tell you, Michael Manley break down the classism barrier in Jamaica. And I will continue to say this. And even up leading up into the 80s. Are we there? Chopper gone.
No, man, you're
right? You know, and what Michael Manley did, a lot of Michael Manley policies may not have helped Jamaica, and I will admit that. Because what I believe, the policies of Michael Manley meant well. But the people around Michael Manley, were people weren't in it for Jamaica. They were in it for their own
No, Garfield, let me come in here. Because people, just before you came on, drop our last in for the Share the Wealth budget that the Siaga brought. In 1969, he brought a budget called Share the Wealth budget. Every single thing that Michael Manley came and offered was in that budget. And you know what happened? You see, just like how the PNP is running interference now so that we can implement needs. You see, just like how they're running interference now so that we can go republic. In the same way, they run interference because Michael quite rightly recognized that if Eddie Siaga and the Labour Party was able to implement the proposal in that Share the Wealth budget, it would be a winning thing for the party. Every single thing, the no bastard, no there again was in that budget. Minimum wage was in that budget.
That was laid in 1967.
The Jamaicanization of industries was in that budget. That is how Jamaica black people was able to own big business. Highland Life, Life of Jamaica, Jamaica Citizens Bank. So, black people set up that and was running that.
So,
right? So what the PNP did was to run interference in the Siaga and the JLP from implementing those Share the Wealth ideas. And then they came. Let me tell you something, brother. You see how policies are formed in Jamaica? You see from when we are trying to bring needs into Jamaica? Nearly 40 years and all needs can come. You think Michael could win power in 72 and by 73 man out free education to university? You think policies form like that?
Impossible.
Policies not form like that. And all those policies were thought out already and ready to go. Built by the greatest social engineer Jamaica have ever seen. Edward Philip George Siaga and the Jamaica Labour Party. You understand? So that's why Sheriff Manley could have come and within by 74, he was, as a matter of fact, by 73, he was announcing free education to university and all the things. No bastard, no there again. No. You think social policies are formed within 1 year? You're crazy, man. Michael Manley was a con man. He's the greatest con man Jamaica had. And we need to understand that.
Your argument is this, Dalton, is that the Jamaican Labour Party already have these policies in the pipeline, and the People's National Party sabotage them. So when them come to state power, they can implement it in 1 year.
Garfield.
But
Garfield.
they the argument by all means necessary. But the fact of the matter is that it was formed by the government of the day where the Jamaican people can benefit from.
What different position are you taking now, man?
But hold on, no, Garfield is a reasonable man, you know. Don't be fooled by his initial argument. He's a reasonable man.
Well, I'm fooled.
And over time, he's gonna come to the realization that what we are saying is correct. But Garfield, here's the issue. Here's the issue. You remember that song that came popular in 1976?
Yeah, man.
Never Martin.
By Never Martin?
Yeah, man. My leader, bar.
Right. So that song had some. Hold on a second. That song came to prominence 14 days before the general election in 1976.
And the people were fooled again.
It acted as a manifesto for the People's National Party. By the way, the PNP has never presented a manifesto until in the 1990s. But I will get back to that.
Okay.
Or the 2000s. Well, listen to this. That song brought all the policies, except for about three. All the policies that they brought in that song were policies that were crafted, tabled, some partially implemented by the Jamaica Labour Party. And I'll give you some example. No bastard, no there again. Most Jamaicans today believe wholeheartedly that those policies were created by the PNP and Michael Manley. Today, comrades all over Jamaica would hail Michael Manley thinking that he was the man who instituted the policy that says no bastard, no there again.
What about my
Cliff Hughes thought so before it was shown to him?
Well, listen, even Cliff Hughes thought that no bastard, no there again, that policy was crafted by the PNP until yours truly took it to him and say, look here, the Bastardy Act was tabled by the Jamaica Labour Party in 1967. Right?
Well,
and you can go down the list.
The record is there to reflect because, and if that's the only thing I hang on to the Michael Manley quote for, I remember in 1994 when I sat at 79th Street and Biscayne Boulevard in Miami, Florida, by the U.S. Immigration Services then.
Yes.
And I applied for a green card, and the immigration officer said to my father, I am not a legitimate child because you were never married to his mother. My attorney at the time had to draw for the record to show that the no bastard system was in place before my birth. So the fact of the matter, Chopper.
The Bastard Act was repealed.
Yes, right.
What year were you born? What year you born, Mike?
1972.
Good.
Right.
So if you were born 1972.
And I can tell you this, Chopper.
No, hold on, Michael. Hold on. You were born 1972, and when they draw for that act, simply means that it was implemented before 72, correct?
Correct.
Good. So that put into perspective the fact that that argument that the entire world would have accepted
that the Labour Party was drafted.
I want to hear from you.
Bravo.
Exactly. Because it is so. But I want to hear from you because a lot of Jamaicans, both in diaspora and here in Jamaica, believe that the Bastardy Act was something that was implemented by the PNP. So I'm happy that you are here with a living testimony to justify my argument. Bravo, my brother. Bravo.
Equal pay for women.
Equal pay
for women.
Buster Manking in 1964
1964. And it wasn't even a JLP policy per se. It was an instruction given to them by the United Nations to bring women up. Because after the war, women were way behind. You know? And they had to bring women wages up and all that.
Let's deal with Jamal.
Jamal, yes. The greatest education minister that this country has ever seen.
Jamal, why just a change the name? It just a change the name from what was there before. Because that is what Michael and PNP do.
That's the era.
Just like how JIS was changed to API. That is the hallmark of the PNP. They just change name. It's like our heart. They call it Heart Trust NTA because they want to dilute heart and dilute the impact that Eddie Siaga other than that.
The art,
and that is how they go about and do things.
It's one of the Art Institute that Edward.
So the Jamal thing there was the adult literacy program going on long before Jamal.
To Jamaica, what we give credit on that? That is something that Edward Siaga has reformatted the hotel corridor, the North Coast. We have to give Edward Siaga that credit. But the fact of the matter. What I'm saying.
No, the modernization of Jamaica, you have to give him credit for that too.
No, but hold on, man. Gentlemen, if you guys want these folks, over 400 of them listening here, if you want them to leave here feeling that they are informed, let us put these things into perspective. Because a lot of folks out here, both Labour Right and PNP, are of the view. Michael, let me tell you what I want to do. And I want to do this real quick because I'd love to bring you guys back, to have a fulsome debate on this. But here's what I want to say to you, Garfield. Mm-hmm. You believe in your mind that the People's National Party would have done more for Jamaica than the PNP?
Than the JLP.
Than the JLP?
Yes,
sorry.
10 times over, correct.
All right, good. And that's your perspective.
Yes.
So let us now put that argument to rest once and for all. Right? Just like we did a while ago with the Bastardy Act, you laid it to rest.
Right.
Thankfully. I'm going to allow you now to lay that argument that the PNP has done more for Jamaica than the JLP. I'm going to allow you to put that argument to rest and to understand that that's garbage. So let us all right, so let us go now. So we're going to use the economy as a yardstick of measure. Can we do that?
Yes, no, but hold on. But we must remember. We cannot use today's economy.
No. We're not going to. I said, let us use the economy as a yardstick of measure. You agree, Darlan?
Wait, look. I think we can simply ask him some questions. You think, what did he say? Said the PNP has done more for Jamaica?
Yes.
But let us allow him to make that argument.
I want him.
Let's allow him to make that argument.
Allow him to
put some questions.
But that's what I'm going to ask him now.
In reference
to Garfield, tell me the hospital and the PNP bill.
You got into infrastructure now.
Hold on. Darlan, you cannot kill the man yet. You have to wait. You have to do it slowly. Garfield, we're not going into infrastructure yet. Let us start with the economy.
Hold on. What? The Kingston Public Hospital.
Yes.
Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Yes.
Wait. No, we have to correct him. We can't let him go.
Darlan, we cannot correct what we don't hear. Go ahead, Garfield.
The Kingston
Chop up. He's saying the Kingston Public Hospital. The Kingston Public Hospital was built by the colonial powers.
But
the expansion of the Kingston Public Hospital started on the Shira.
Darlan, you have to listen to it first.
Hold on, man.
You can't read what you're not here.
Kingston Public Hospital.
Hold on a second. Garfield, see, we're not jump the gun, gentle people. Hold on, man. Darlan, why you want to bring this thing into infrastructure? We start with the economy. Let us stick with the economy. Then we come to infrastructure.
It's too general, man. Make we go specific.
No, it's not general. It is not general. The economy is as clear as day. Let us deal with the sequence. Between 1967 and 1972, what is the economic growth, Garfield?
18% as you
good. Between 1972 and 1979, what is the economic growth during that period?
Flat.
Every
minus
single
25.
year. It
Minus.
was negative 5%.
25 accumulated.
Darlan.
But what created that though?
Hold on, gentlefolks. Between 1972 and 1979, we had a negative 5%. Negative 5%. That's what we had.
But
so is it clear? Hold on a second. So let me ask you this, Garfield.
Yes, we did have that, Chopper, and I am.
But let me ask you this, so Garfield.
But hold on,
man.
But what created that, Chopper? There has to be a reason why.
Garfield.
We will examine that.
We will go there. But hold on a second. Let us just put it in perspective. Remember, folks, we are doing this so the folks who are watching can understand. Okay? So we had one entire decade, Darlan, 8 years. 2 terms of the PNP between 1972 and 1979 that we and you, Garfield, agree that we had negative economic growth. Is that correct?
Correct.
So it is safe to say then, between 67 and 1979, the GLP would have been the best during that period. Correct? Correct?
Chopper.
The
GLP. Correct.
All right, good. So we finish with that. Let us move on now. 1980, the Jamaica Labour Party won the election under Eddie Siaga. They won 83 snap election and they lost 1989. Can I ask you this, Mr. Garfield Reid? What was the economic growth between 1980 and 1989?
Chopper, I'm drawing blank there because of certain reasons at that time,
right.
Chopper.
So I can't help you, man. I can't help you. I can't help you. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. So even during the 1980s, we had some negative growth. Because between 1980 and 1982, 83, we had negative economic growth. So it wasn't all bad only under PP in the 70s. It was also bad on some years of Eddie Siaga in the 80s.
And I'm assuming the reason for that, because Eddie Siaga had to fix the
That's momentum
negative.
negative.
You're a brilliant guy.
Momentum.
Look at that. You're a brilliant guy. Brilliant guy. Round of applause. Round of applause. Brilliant guy. So that's what I'm saying to you, Garfield. We're going to have this discussion on factual information. Right? So we agree now, Garfield. You agree that Eddie Siaga had some bad years during the 80s, correct?
Correct.
Good. But he closed the year or the decade by 1989. What was the economic growth?
He turned it back over to a positive. It was in the positive.
Positive.
Very positive.
Because we have to get some numbers now.
It was in double digits.
Double digit.
Yes,
you hear that, Darlan? Is he correct? Double digit?
No,
I think it was 5.6.
It was I single digit.
5.4% in 1989. It went up to 12% in 87, I think. Okay. But it dipped a little bit after Hurricane Gilbert. And we went down to 7.4 or thereabout. Don't quote me, but it is thereabout. But you will agree, though, Garfield, that that period again, like 1967, came out atop. Correct?
Correct.
Good. So we examine 3 periods, 2 periods in which the GLP rule, and 4 periods. 2 periods in which the GLP rule, and 2 periods in which the PNP rule.
But let me ask
you. Man. We're going to get to that, man.
No, but,
so
in that era, I have to ask a question.
Go ahead.
In that era, because when Hurricane Gilbert hit in 1988,
Yes.
Right?
September
Jamaica
12th.
was on a positive, right? And Edwards, and I will say this wholeheartedly, right here
Yes.
from Florida, at the time, Florida Power and Light sent in about 3 to 4 barges in Kingston Harbor
To help out, to light the country. Yes.
with supplies.
Yes.
The U.S. Coast Guard, as you
Came
know,
in, yes.
patrol the southern
Yes.
basin of the Caribbean with
Yes.
supplies on it in every hurricane season. What went wrong? Why Edward Thiago was voted out?
All right, we're gonna get to that. Somebody who has a phone ringing there.
There's a music
Someone has a phone ringing there. Nice music is played in the background there. I don't know who it is. All right. So here's the other one now. Right? Because one thing I will tell you, we're not going to leave this conversation tonight without persons. Oh Lord. Hold on a second there, folks. I'm trying to find who is playing this music in the background here. Is that you, Darla H. Francis?
No.
Another
Huh? We should all mute our mics, and when we speak, we open it up.
I don't think it's you, It stopped?
Could not possibly be my system.
All right. Just give us a second, guys.
Your audio is weak, though.
My audio is weak?
Overall. It was much louder before.
Michael Manley, kill it, man.
Maybe.
All right. Man, I don't know where this thing came from, but hang on a second there, guys. But listen to me carefully. What I want to do, Darlan, is so we agree now that those two periods we're talking about from 1967 to 1989, and you agree that the time that the People's National Party ruled between 72 and 79 was dismal because it was negative growth. But between 1980 and 89, the JP came back and we up again. We lost the election in 1989, Garfield.
Why?
We're going to get there. But remember, we're looking at one thing first. So 89, the PNP came in. Can you tell me what was the economic growth between 1989 and 1999?
I know we were way under 5%. I know that for a fact.
Under 5%?
Yes. It was minimal growth. I think we were about 2%, if I can.
2?
When did Omar Davies become finance minister?
Well, I'm going to tell. I can't get a timeline of Omar Davies because at that 1988, just after Gilbert hit, just a few days after Gilbert hit, I took the flight to Miami. 89, the last Eastern airline to Miami, Florida. That's what I was on out of Jamaica. So, and at that time, to be honest, I wasn't much indulged in the politics because
the reason why I ask about Omar Davies is because in the 70s, whatever was happening, wasn't called negative growth. It was Omar Davies that taught us that word. Before we know about shrink.
What shrink? Shrinkage in the shrinkage.
Yes, shrink. Yeah.
Well, the labor right them rough, the labor right them play.
All right, well, carry on, folks. But Garfield, let me try and see if we can sum this up real quick.
Yeah.
The essence of my argument is, guys, that since 1972, since 1962, independent Jamaica, until today, come back as a Garfield, come here.
Here, man.
Between 1962, independent Jamaica, and today, Darla H. Francis, in 2023, every single period that the PNP has governed this economy, it has always been in a negative. And in every instant that the Jamaica Labour Party runs the economy, it is always growth. Do you agree with that, Garfield?
Well, we knew that there were 2 years from 1980 to 1982 we have no growth, so we can't say all.
No,
but let me ask this question. Let me ask this question.
No. Before you ask the question.
Yes, growth. Yeah, the Jamaican Labour. Well, you see, growth is a hell of a thing in a chopper.
Garfield, is it safe to say, Garfield, hold on a second. Hold on, man. Is it safe to say that every time that the Jamaica Labour Party is in charge, the economy grows as opposed to a negative growth under the PNP? Is that a fair comment?
Well, that's a fair comment to make.
Thank you. Another round of applause. Another round of applause.
But how was the growth occur? The growth was occurring to a chopper. The Jamaica Labour Party have growth in a chopper. The Jamaica Labour Party have growth just like Donald Trump in the United States, you know. But when the growth happened, who earns from the growth? Who benefits from the growth, though? That is the argument, though, Chopper. Because it's someone like myself under the Donald Trump 4 years, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't vote Republican, but in what I do, in where I work, in my field of work, I earn much more. But guess what, Chopper? It's a false economy. And I will tell you why. What Donald Trump did, and the Jamaican Labour Party tends to do that, your party create false economy. Your party believe that the people at the top must be the people at the top. And that the man at the bottom get the crumbs.
No, we got to stop that. We got to stop that propaganda.
No.
That's propaganda.
No.
And that's false. That's false comparison.
Hold on. Garfield, you made a point.
You have to allow me to finish my point.
You made a point, Garfield.
Hold on. You have to allow me to finish my point, and I wrap up in 30 seconds. Right? And I will say this to you. The people at the top is growing and growing rapidly. Why is it now, especially, why is it that we have never raised minimum wage to bring it up to a livable wage? Minimum wage in Jamaica right now is below $15,000 a week, Chopper. That's $100 US. Okay,
what
Chopper.
What was it during the 18.5 years?
Well, of course. But again, remember, by your own words, the People's National Party never had growth. So if them now have no growth, inflation are high, and there's no money in the coffers, so minimum wage can't be raised. But let me ask this question.
Garfield, give me a chance to come in here.
Yeah, man.
This was not a mishap.
Because
it was things that they did that caused it.
The truth is,
Omar Davis
under the PNP, the PNP doesn't have growth. The PNP doesn't have growth because of the policy they pursue. The economy have a little thing called confidence. Under the PNP, business people have no confidence. Okay. And they produce nothing. There's no growth. Okay. Right? Michael was anti-business. Okay. And he was confrontational. He attacked business people. Mm-hmm. So the same thing was because of that. The lack of growth was because it was against businessmen. He was anti-capitalist.
What have been growth now?
And then, all right, Garfield, give me a chance, man.
Garfield,
you had a good run.
Garfield.
Let me talk.
No, ask a question. Why can't we move
let me talk. Let me make the point.
Hold on. You're responding. Just allow him to respond.
Because under the PNP, they're unable to grow the economy. And they can't grow the economy because in the 70s, Michael was anti-capitalist, anti-business, and he said so himself. He invited people to take one of the 5 flights and leave Jamaica. And in the other years, when the PNP is there, there's a thing called confidence. And business people don't have confidence when the PNP is government.
Correct.
And that is why the economy can't grow.
But can I ask you something,
Because, and you know why they don't have confidence?
Darling.
And they're gonna even more so now.
Darlan, 1 second. Garfield.
Yes, sir.
Darlan just made a very crucial point just now. He said under the PNP, the business community lack confidence.
Okay.
Are you in agreement?
Well,
would you
the
agree with
business
that?
community, no, I wouldn't say under the, I will tell you this, I will say this. Under the Michael Manley-led government, because one of the reasons why the business community lack confidence in the Manley administration is because of the propaganda of communism. We know that.
Because of the what propaganda? When Michael was the one who invited businessmen to take one of the 5 flights. One of the 5 flights to Miami.
Garfield.
Faster. Yes.
Garfield, no. Why you want to move away from it? Garfield.
Hold on, Chapa. Let me ask this question. The Jamaica Labour Party always grow positive growth by your own admission, and we accept that. I accept that argument. And I ask you a question again. We have a positive growth. We have positive growth. Why is it? Think about fast forward today. Fast forward today. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing well, as what you say. Why is it that we cannot go 100% on minimum wage in Jamaica? Because we have confidence in there's confidence in the public, in the private sector. Let me answer that. 100%?
Go ahead, Michael. Let me just continue. I wanted to get to this point. Let me speak here.
Hold on.
Let me just make the point and quiet up yourself.
From a labor perspective, if you
you are saying that you're trying to say the growth, the JP growth.
Darling, hold on 1 second. Hold the thought real quick. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yes, let's say you are a public sector worker.
No, private sector.
Even private sector, earning a certain amount. Say you're a supervisor at a big warehouse, and you're earning a certain amount. When you employ a helper and a gardener, and then the government double their wage, how you pay them?
Okay, stop. Then okay, cool, good question. Hold on. If the government is going to set minimum wage, for a layman, for a laborer, for a helper, right? I really don't like use the word helper still, because I don't really believe that, because people are people.
No, man, I just use one demographic. No,
but let us not use helper, because somebody that works for you, an employee. Use the word employee. And that is why we get stuck in this colonial system about helper. Because someone come to your house to clean your house.
No, Garfield, make the point. Because I want to hear Durlan on this. Yeah. Make a point.
So my argument is this. If the economy is growing, that warehouse worker, owner or boss that owns that warehouse, it is quite obviously whatever goods that they have there is selling, and they are earning a profit. There is a profit is earning. Why is it that warehouse manager can't get a raise in salary? He should be able to get a raise in salary.
All right, Garfield.
He can pay his employer at his house.
Garfield, people are getting raised, but wages is a factor. It's market force.
Correct.
Yes.
On the JLP, we operate a market economy. On the JLP, trade unionism is encouraged, and they are there to negotiate for workers, right? But so the workers are represented at every level.
Some workers.
And it is a factor of the market that determines wages, right? But one of the points I'd like to make here is that we were looking at the economy under the 2 parties. And under the PNP, in the 1990s, the PNP had a major expenditure of $3 billion US. At that time, it was 130 billion Jamaican dollar. And you know what they spent that money to do? To bail out banks, to bail out insurance companies, because of the idiotic policies of the PNP.
And who benefit from that? From the bailout?
Their high interest rate regime, and then they came to let me finish. I want to make a point here. And then they came to sap up liquidity, and that resulted in the bankrupting of 45,000 businesses, including life insurance company and banks. And in order for the system not to collapse, the PNP had to bail them out.
Correct.
So they spent $130 billion to correct their error.
So,
on the JLP, on the Andrew Holness, on the Nigel Clark, they were able to instill confidence in the economy, to have the economy grow to the point where the government could now come find another $128 billion.
Chopper, what happened to that
and what report? Did they?
So we can get some clarity on that.
They take it and increase the wages of every government worker in the country.
Okay, good.
Some people buy as high as 300%. You're talking about wages, you're complaining. You know why wages are so low and subdued? Because of the PNP. Because none of them, they mash up the economy, nobody can't grow, nobody can pay increase. And the only time they were able to mobilize some money was to bail out banks and insurance company. And under Andrew,
where is that report?
Holness and Nigel Clark, they were able to steer the economy ship.
I hear you. But I'm asking about the report.
Where the economy was generating so much revenue. And they were now able to increase the wages of teachers. Some teachers get over 200% increase.
Yeah, I hear you.
Doctors, some doctors get over 300% increase.
Hold on.
But I remember when
almost every public sector workers got great increase. I used to the chairman.
All right. So listen to this now. Garfield.
The report.
Hold on, we're going to get to the report. But before we get to the report, you ask a question.
I'm not hearing the chairman.
I want the question to be answered. The question, Garfield.
Can you hear the chairman?
Yeah, man. Huh? Hearing well.
Mike, can you hear him?
Darlan?
Yeah, I'm hearing
Darlan, you hearing me, Michael?
Yeah, man.
Michael, you hearing me, right?
Yeah.
And Garfield, you hearing me?
Thumbs up.
Darlan, you're not hearing me?
Doesn't seem so.
Michael Maniclag him hearing.
But I'm hearing him very well. But anyhow, Garfield.
Yes.
You ask a question.
Oh,
who benefit?
Chopper, did you turn off my mic?
Probably you.
No, your mic is good. Hold on a second, Darlan.
We hear you, Darlan.
Darlan, yeah. So, Darlan, Garfield, you ask who benefit. There are some persons in this country today who are seeking to lead Jamaica, and they're on the other side. You want to know who benefit? Go and ask. If you want to know who benefit from FinSA,
yes.
Go and ask.
No.
Mr. Go ask Mark Golden.
No. Allow me to ask the question.
Vin Lawrence.
Chopper. Allow me to make the point. Chopper.
Yes.
When Al-Nishar took over office, when he won the election in 2016, when Andrew won his first term, when was it again? 2016. Right. Peter Phillips was the man in charge of the purse. Okay?
Yes.
The report was final and needed to be printed. And Al-Nishar stood in Parliament and said, the thing need to do is to the report to be printed. And it needed like $2 million to send it to the printer. and the Minister of Finance, Mr. Manayard, promised to publish the report. And I ask this question again. Why is it the Jamaica Labour Party, and before we finish that, you hear what you say? Mark Golding and them cronies benefited from FinSac. Mark Golding, I remember when before Portia Simpson Miller leave office and Omar Davis was finance minister, remember Pernell Charles asked Omar Davis about the FinSac report, and Omar Davis respond to him is that be careful of what you're asking for. And at that day, Pernell Charles sat back in his seat, and I come back now. Why is it that the Jamaica Labour Party don't publish the FinSac report? So the people of Jamaica...
What's the significance of what just outlined a while ago?
Garfield, I agree with you.
Huh?
Very good question, Michael.
Huh?
And it's a very good question. Why is it not published? And that's a very good question. I cannot answer that.
Significance of what it
hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't know. I have no interest in that. But here's what I'm saying to you, Michael. He asked a question and he made a very good point. He said that why is it that the report is not tabled? Right?
Why?
And that's a very good question to ask. Darlan, you're back on. You're hearing me now, Darlan?
Yes, yes.
Man, you had mute me earlier, so we're back.
Darlan may know the question to ask him.
But you asked a very good question. Why is that report not tabled? But to be honest with you, and most of the listeners here will tell you, it's a very good question. But for us, I don't need a report to tell me who benefit.
No, it does.
Hold on.
The record will prove it.
There might be some persons who are hidden in the report that benefit from FinSac that I don't know. But on the surface of it, I can tell you that Peter Murcott Bunting, right, would have benefit under that arrangement. And the man who brought...
Let the record be clear. I don't know that.
You don't know?
Garfield Reed don't know that. And so, that is why I'm asking you.
But let me ask you a question.
Get to Nigel Clark.
The period in which the arrangement to sell DB&G, wasn't that under FinSac?
Again.
I'm asking you if the period when DB&G was divested and those folks bought it, wasn't it under FinSac?
Yes, it was done under FinSac.
Is it unfair to say?
But I don't know the inner dealings of the transaction.
Is it unfair?
Hold on. We're making an error here. When DB&G was sold, it wasn't because of FinSac. It was created.
It was bought.
It was created out of FinSac.
Yes, FinSac, but not sold.
Not sold because of FinSac.
No, It was created because of FinSac.
Good. So is it unreasonable to have that thinking?
Well, again, I don't know the inner circles of how it was bought.
I'm talking about the financial arrangement.
I don't know the financial arrangement, Chopper.
Come on, Garfield, man. You're a man who understands finances.
Publish the report.
Let me help you here.
Publish the report.
There was some back and forth in Parliament over the report.
Oh, you remember that now, Mr. Brown?
I always remember.
Like nothing never happened, Mr. Brown.
I'm telling you.
But you sit back early and tell me that you don't see the relevance in it. But no, you remember.
No, that's not what I never see the relevance in. Because what I said never saw the relevance of the relevance of that question was when you spoke about Pernell Charles heckling Omar Davis and Omar Davis' response and it's down.
Correct.
I don't know what that means.
Well, that is why we need the report.
Okay, but I'm saying, one, I've never heard Mark Golding or Peter Bunting call for the report. Never. Two.
Well, that is why we as Jamaicans are calling for the report.
Okay.
Forget about Mark Golding and Peter Bunting.
there was no ambiguity what went down during that FinSac period, what caused it, who benefited. That is well established.
But we must also be clear for the listening public that is listening. The PMP FinSac wasn't the problem. FinSac was only a vehicle to fix the problem. Let us be clear. So I
cannot disagree with that.
Okay?
I cannot disagree with that.
Correct. Let us be clear.
Yeah.
FinSac was the problem.
Yes, Garfield.
Fix the problem.
FinSac was the medicine for the disease that was brought on by the People's National Party.
Pepper him, Darland.
Yeah. So FinSac was a remedy. Yes, it was not the cause. It was the cure. It was the cure.
That the good minister of finance today just announced in his budget presentation earlier this year that if everything work according to plan, by next financial year, we would have gone back to pre-FinSac period, meaning we would have paid off, would have recuperated from that FinSac debacle, that FinSac disease, that FinSac disaster. So,
again, I want the report published.
30 plus years.
I need the report for public.
One policy that was pursued by Dr. Omar Davis. It took Jamaica 30 years to get rid of it. Now, under that sort of track record, and what Garfield would you ask a People's National Party to come back and run this country? When the very same policies, the very same policies that cause us that 30-year disease, the current administration today of the People's National Party has demonstrated to the Jamaican people that they are ready, willing to pursue the exact same policies of the 1970s and the exact same policies of the 1990s. Why should the Jamaican people trust the PNP? On what basis?
We have dealt with the economy.
Praise Omar Davis.
But
praise Omar Davis in recent vintage.
Yes.
We have dealt with social services. We have dealt with the economy. Let us deal with crime.
Go right there, my brother.
Let us deal with crime.
Go there. Yes.
I asked this question, Chopper. Why is corruption? Let us deal with corruption.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
I'm going to give you one option. Hold on. Before you go to corruption, I'm going to give you one option. And that is to back away from that one. I'll give you a chance to choose something else. You sure you want to go there?
Positive.
All right, come on, bring it.
Corruption, Chopper. Why is it that on the streets, and from a layman perspective, of course, I have no seat in Garden House, I have no seat at Oak Road nor Belmont Road, nor Oak Road, okay? So I am just a spectator. You guys have first-hand information coming out of the administration, because anytime something break, use the First Man and Cliff Hughes program with a secret line to the program. So you know.
Come on, Garfield, bring it.
All right. Let me ask this
question. Darlan, you listening, Darlan? You hear it?
Yes.
Let me ask this question, Chop.
All right.
Why is the argument on the street that both political parties are corrupt? There is no doubt about that. No doubt about that. We can agree on that. Right, Darlan?
I'm reluctant to agree because there is context to that argument.
All right, good. All right, we agree.
What is corruption?
Why is it that the argument always touted that when the Jamaica Labour Party is in office, when them a thief, them thief enough. But the PMP don't thief enough one time. The PMP thief peace.
And thief little.
And thief little. Because them tends to have a longer run at government. Answer that for me.
Anecdote.
I don't.
Anecdote.
Garfield.
Yeah.
You're turning around the anecdote on the road. Because the anecdote I hear is that when the PNP are thief, them use front end loader.
No.
But if the JLP are do anything, then use a little trouble. Anyway, look, here's the thing, my brother. Here's the thing. Corruption. When it comes to the JLP, there is this false allegation of corruption.
Oh.
And I started this program.
So I'm the
I will start this program by talking about the Sikali affair, where Michael Manley made up story about Johnny Giles. And that has been the hallmark of the PNP over all these years. They have always made up story about the JLP involving in corrupt acts. You remember? And that is what they talk about the 2 missing schools to distract from the brilliant accomplishment of Shira building 50 secondary school in 5 years. 50. Never done before, never done since. 50. And in order to distract from that, they came and talk about 2 of the school missing. And that was because of inflation, and the budget couldn't handle all the schools that were earmarked to be built and 2 were not built. Then come say 2 missing, as if there was some big corrupt act.
You know,
let me talk, man. The DeCosta report on those missing school spoke to that fact, that the devaluation, price escalation, and all of that. And the worst thing that happened under that time was the man who run it, Jata Burt, who was administering the program. When him know that contractor get paid, him go beg them something. I don't know if that is corrupt. It might be distasteful, but I don't see that as being corrupt. Because the man knows the money run, and him send a man go beg a man some money. That was the worst thing that came out in the DaCosta report. Right? So, you're talking about corruption. This is what we consider to be corrupt. When the PNP get $31 million from Traffic Guru, and nobody can tell you how it go and where it came in for. And all they did was to obfuscate, run interference, obstruct, confuse people. And to this day, you have some people who are involved, have reached senior citizens stage to the point where they can't be deposed anymore. And we can't know the truth about that 31 million. That, to my mind, is corrupt.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Right? Okay, look. Wait. Because it's the same thing to come back with JDIP. And after the PNP was there, and because they can't grow the economy and can't generate revenue to fix the road. The roads in Jamaica were like riverbed through the length and breadth of the country. And the JLP government of Bruce Golding went and got a loan, 32 billion Jamaican dollars. And they build roads, they build retaining wall, they put in curb and channels so that the water wouldn't match up the road through the length and breadth of the country. And they were not able to take any credit for it because the PNP allege corruption. And that is what they do while they pursue active corruption when they have it. Under the JLP, they allege corruption. And it is 2 different situations.
When the PNP questioned the same JD, an inquiry was done into it. And Omar Davies told the parliament that he has a preliminary report. I think
share the program, guys. Share the program.
I think those cards want to ask him. Based on does the report show any corruption? Him saying don't go through it yet. You know, saying don't go through all of it yet. Because somebody will say, what you have seen so far, have you seen anything that could represent corruption? Omar Davis' voice dropped. You could barely hear him. I have not seen anything, and I have not seen that report yet.
Well, Garfield, if I may say something on your question, corruption. Jamaica overall has suffered from corruption.
Oh, it is. Is that so?
Yes, both in public sector and private sector. So we don't need to disagree on that. Okay. We have a corruption problem.
No, we don't have a corruption problem, Chapa. We have a corrupt society in Jamaica.
Hold on a second. No. We have a corruption problem. But hear me out for a second. Your question is more towards politicians.
No,
right?
Not necessarily. I mean, keep in mind, my question is towards governance of the country. My question is because regardless if you're in politics or not, you're a leader. Once you're in charge of an organization, take out politics.
But Garfield, if you want to generalize corruption, there is 10 times more corruption in the private sector than it is in government.
And how does that happen? And what is the reason for that, Chopper? Because the private sector, Chopper, private sector indulge into corruption because the same both political parties are going to the private sectors for money to run political campaign. So what the government is doing, hold on. What the government is doing, the government of the day is creating space in the private sector so the government can now get back the money to run their political party. The Jamaican
why can't that be prosecuted?
And the People's National Party do it, Chopper, both parties do it, Chopper.
All right,
so why can't that be prosecuted?
Garfield, I cannot argue with you on that because you have a point. There might be some loophole created that gives rise to politicians going to private sector for political contribution. Now, I want to deal with this whole argument about corruption where the two political parties are concerned.
They are both corrupt.
Because I don't want to say they are corrupt.
No, they are both.
What I'm prepared to say, hold on, Garfield, I am prepared to say that there are corrupt individuals in both political parties.
And both leaders of both parties are aware of who these corrupt.
No. Hold on. All right, let us say that. I'm going to give you that too. Let's agree now that both political party leaders, both past and present, is aware. Hold on. They are aware of the corrupt members of their parties. You agree on that?
Yes.
All right, cool. I'm going to give you that. But let me ask you this now. And I want you to answer me because we are dealing on an honest and open conversation. Of the two political parties, which one would you say have done more to stamp out corruption in Jamaica? Is it the PNP or the GLP?
I will tell you this of today.
Yes.
I will tell you this of today.
Yes, and I'm listening.
The Andrew Holness administration today seems to want to go to a route stating that the administration is fighting against corruption. But guess what, Chopper?
No, go ahead.
We are not getting day by day coverage until the Andrew Holness administration give us blow by blow coverage, week by week, month by month, and steps of how he himself as the administrator of
Slow
the
down,
party
Garfield.
and the
Garfield.
government
Garfield.
is going to stamp out corruption.
Hold on, Garfield, man. You're gone off track. Come back with me a little bit. Come back with me a little bit. We agree that both political parties
are corrupt.
Are aware that there are corrupt members in both, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you agree on that?
Yeah.
Question for you. Of the two political parties, and I want you to answer me.
And the reason why
hold
you
on,
are
man.
looking for
Hold on a second, Garfield. If you be, hold on,
stamping on corruption.
Garfield. Hold on.
Do that. They are in government.
I want to stop, man. Hold on a second. I want you to answer me honestly. If you say PNP and is your honest answer, it is your honest answer. If you say GLP is your honest answer, is your honest answer. The question before you, Garfield, read, my good friend, of the two political parties, which of them have demonstrated to the Jamaican people the willingness to stamp out corruption? In other words, which one of the two have done more to prosecute corruption in Jamaica? Is it the PNP or the GLP?
Chopper, if you use the word prosecute in a chopper.
Prosecute corruption.
If you use the word prosecute corruption, chopper.
Yes.
And record, the only member of a political party.
We're not talking about Jack Smith. We're not talking about...
Let me hear him.
Go ahead.
Chopper. Today, in today's world, in today's world in 2023, it appears that the Jamaica Labour Party is trying their utmost best to stamp out corruption. It would appear.
Oh!
Hold on.
Another round of applause.
Hold on. Let's hear him. Let's hear him.
But what the people of Jamaica want, and especially people in the diaspora, need play-by-play coverage.
What do you mean by that? Expand on that.
They need
what is play-by-play coverage?
Play-by-play coverage. There is so much corruption swirling around Jamaica.
No, there is so much allegation of corruption.
Okay, so much allegation. Good. My learned friend. I stand corrected.
Hold on. Not just correction. Hold on. Slow down. Listen to this for a second. Here's why it is important for you not to foster that in your mind. And I'm going to give you a very recent and clear argument. Right? The Integrity Commission just the other day presented a report to Parliament where it alleged that Robert Montague was up to no good. That's what the report says. And when the dust is settled now, you and I are aware that some of the very players in the Integrity Commission are corrupt themselves.
They're working for the PNP.
Me not go there yet in a Garfield. Me not even go there yet. Me could just look at their action.
They were advisors to a senior member of the PNP.
They are admitting.
They were advisors to a senior member of the PNP.
Not just that, Garfield, man. They are admitting that while they were prosecuting Bobby Montague,
they were working for the PNP.
No.
Have you read the report? Have you read what the former Contractor General said? And former DPP?
Who was the
Garfield.
first person to rule the wicked for the Integrity Commission?
Garfield, here's what I want to say to you, and I want to say this to you clearly. I believe that both political parties have presided over corrupt. Hold on, Mikey. I'm believing, and you too, and I think all of us will agree that both political parties would have presided over a corrupt society. Agree?
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. But hear me out. I believe that the Jamaica Labour Party, led by Andrew Holness, have demonstrated the ability to do something about corruption more than any other political party in this country.
But give us the benefit, then give us the fruits it has been bearing, Chopper.
Well, we have less corruption. Listen, less corruption that is costing Jamaica money. No, what we're having is alleged corruption, which when it is investigated, came out to nothing, amounts to nothing. And to Holness have gone ahead and dismiss members of his cabinet without even having the evidence, just on the basis of allegations. Robert Montague was removed from the cabinet on the basis of corruption.
Who was that?
Mike Henry was removed from the cabinet on the basis of corruption allegation. And when the dust was settled, when the very PNP Garfield investigated Mike Henry, they came back and said there was nothing here against Mike Henry. The JD program, one of the greatest infrastructure program in the history of Jamaica. Mike Henry was kicked out of the cabinet on the basis of allegations coming from the said contractor general, where today it is coming out to the public that they themselves are a corrupt group of people and they should resign and step aside.
Recommended a criminal. A gun license.
Yeah, Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield. You know why there is perception of corruption?
Tell me.
It's because it's the playbook of the PNP.
You're going back.
Yes. You have to know. You have to understand the DNA. It's a playbook. Look at JDIP. Look for example, JDIP. Look what happened at JDIP. The two things that they were up in arms about was the Christiana bypass road, which was built for almost 860 million Jamaican dollars. A road like that internationally should have been built for $1.6 billion using international standard, right? But nevertheless, they just want to hear that a project costs so much. And right away, they get excited, it's corruption. And they go on like there was corruption going on at Christiana. When, as far as I could see and discern, is that Christiana project was built under budget, right? When you compare the Christiana bypass to the building of Marcus Garvey Drive, from I think 2nd Street to East Avenue, that was the French company built that for nearly $700 million. And the road was there already. They never have to cut no road. They didn't have to do any bridging.
Only resurfacing.
Just resurfacing it. And that was done in about, I think it was 2008. For $700 million. And people accept it. But when Christiana bypass was built for $800 million, a road where it was longer than the Marcus Garvey Drive road I'm referring to, right? Wait, man. Wait. Let me make the point. No, wait, man. Don't interfere, man. Let me make my point, man. That road, they had to buy the land. They had to do, I think it was 2 or 3 bridges they had to build, right? And they come and go on like the road, going for corruption and go on. And these are the things that give Jamaica a bad name and make them can't get good proper road. Because people afraid to budget sensible money to build sensible road. Because the PNP using their allegation of corruption strategy, every little project, they want to treat it as if it is corrupt, right? The next thing was, for the JDIP thing, the man them build an office. Now, you are managing a budget of $32 billion. And then probably must want to the PWD office to manage it. Like you used to manage when they used to have budget for must want $10 million. The same office they wanted to be able to manage a $32 billion budget. And the man them earmark $100 million, $100 million Jamaican dollars to build office and to furnish it. And everybody get excited. Oh, 100 million. And it just by calling a number, just saying how much a project will cost, is corrupt. And that was the basis on which corruption was alleged under JDIP. Right? You can't, if you call a number, it's corrupt.
But Garfield.
And that is the mode of operating of the PNP. Right?
But in modern time now, in modern Jamaica today, and let us just reason this, let us just dial this down now to common sense reasoning. Michael, Garfield, Darlan, in today's Jamaica, are we seeing projects with massive overruns like we used to see before? Let's just narrow it down.
Not at all, not at all. And the reason for that,
something positive is happening.
That's something positive. But the reason for that, Chopper, the reason for that we are not seeing any massive overrun is because the corrupt private sectors are not the major players leading these projects.
And that means you're saying then that the corruption that has bedeviled Jamaica is private sector.
Let me advise Garfield of another scheme what nobody realized. The original plan for Highway 2000 was for it to come bypass Spanish Town and go across the dike and hit Chesterfield Drive.
Where's
Marcus
Chesterfield
Garvey
Drive?
Drive?
Where's Chesterfield Drive?
That's the road. The road then cut below 3 miles to bypass when they were doing
behind Seaview Gardens. That's behind Seaview.
Seaview, right? Okay, behind the railroad track.
So,
yes,
right, exactly. So the highway was supposed to come and hit Marcus Garvey Drive down there, so it would have been the highway into Kingston. The highway was turned onto Mandela, which will cost less. It was turned onto Mandela.
Cut out a big part of it. But the money never cut.
Do a big part of it. Right? And the budget never cut.
Exactly. A matter of fact, it was cost overrun too.
And there was a cost overrun?
Yeah.
Well, again, but remember, wasn't that under the French government? The French?
No, it was under PJ Patterson.
No, it was under Jamaican government.
The contractor was
under Percival James Patterson. Coincidentally, the same company that came in and built that road, they were from France.
Yeah, France.
Do you know where PJ is?
No, Chopper. Let the record reflect.
Yes.
I have no knowledge of what you are talking about.
You don't know where PJ house there?
Chopper, let that be clear.
You don't know where person house there?
Let the record reflect that what you're talking here.
I'm asking a simple question. Do you know if Percival James Patterson own a house in France?
Chopper, I have no knowledge of that.
You don't know that? I'm asking you.
No knowledge of that.
Does he own a house in France?
Chopper, I have no knowledge of that, sir.
Okay, so you don't know.
As far as I'm concerned, PJ Patterson, by the record, said the only house that he owns is in Jamaica, sir.
But look, I'm just asking in a bridging.
I don't know that.
Because I never been to France, I don't know. I don't know Mr. Patterson's bank account. How about that? The good Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister, rest in peace.
Dalton may can answer it, or Michael. If they may know PJ Patterson.
I don't know. I've never gone to France. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking you if you know of him owning a house in France.
Answer the question. I have no knowledge.
Garfield.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about corruption. How is it that a PNP done got $600 million and he did not drop one load of sand?
Again, a PNP done. I have no knowledge of what you're talking.
Hey, Darlan, in 1980, when they killed the permanent secretary, how much load of stone them they drop?
Oh, one load them use, man, and then drop it and take it up and drop it and take it up.
What is that?
You know,
one load of stone.
Drop it and take it up.
I think
that time you're talking about corruption. Tell me something.
Hold on, before you go
Tell me something.
Again, No, but
Tony Brown.
Hold on.
Tony Brown and Josh Flash.
Dalton.
Tony Brown and Josh Flash.
Dalton, let us be
Wait.
clear.
Let me just say this point. Tony Brown and Josh Flash killed Taylor Gilvey.
Dalton, let us be clear. Let us stop implicate people. As a matter of fact, I would say
No, I'm not implicating nobody. Me I call people who commit murder.
No,
Tony Brown
Dalton.
and George Flash murder Taylor Gilvey. Wait. Garfield, give me a minute. Tony Brown and George Flash and another one murder Taylor Gilvey. Because yeah, right. May I give you the knowledge now? And because Taylor Gilvey was investigating and trying to shut down the gravy train that was running on McGregor Gully, the one little gully where the PNP built. Pure corruption run down there, right? And you talk about corruption. This is corruption, brother. You think corruption is only money? Corruption is only money. How did Tony Brown and George Flash and the other brother they reach Cuba?
I have no knowledge of that, sir.
Who take up the phone and call Castro? Because let me tell you something. Something like that is not a handling answer a call there.
I have no knowledge of that, sir.
It's a top man on site. So I want to know which top man in Jamaica take up the phone and call Castro and say, "Trey McDonald, them a come through. Protect him for me."
As far as I know,
and after they were there for 10 years, they were back into this country. And you're talking about corruption? Make we talk about corruption. When Michael Mann decide say he might go lose in 1980 and he want to declare another state of emergency, and he talk about the Green Bay massacre. What would have happened if all 10 men were murdered at Green Bay? You have any idea what would have happened? Michael would have come to the nation and say him stop an insurrection.
No angels were.
Just like him come tell lie about gunpowder plot and how man plan to bomb Flat Bridge. Talking about corruption, that is corruption. And that is how the PNP operate.
Light bulb.
Hold on.
You want to hear about corruption?
Please. Let me talk.
You want to hear about corruption?
Hold on. Give a chance. Come in,
I mention this because, and this was disgusting to hear this over the weekend, Friday night, when Starboy KD Knight, I guess he was in St. Elizabeth, and again he was campaigning for this young lady named Jess.
Yes.
Kern Spencer.
Yes.
And he made a comment, and that is where I'm a fear man. He made a comment that Jamaica convicted Kern Spencer.
Yes.
And KD Knight and company vindicated him.
Yes.
Right? He was vindicated by KD Knight and company. And that was a very distasteful argument by the learned attorney, the QC attorney. I don't know if my king counsel now, but I know him the QC then because the Queen May is still alive. I don't know if she's dead. But when KD Knight made that comment, it was something that really, even my wife pointed out to me, that he literally said to the nation of Jamaica that Kern Spencer was a guilty man. But because of his learned profession as an attorney, he was able to secure a not guilty argument for him. And people need to listen to these things. But I hear you mention a lot about the corruption. But I don't hear you mention nothing about a man say, I can't recall. I don't hear you mention a man say the laws of Jamaica.
You mention it? You mention it.
I don't hear you mention that. I don't
hear you mention it.
Hold on, gentlemen.
If a man says him can't recall.
I don't hear you mention the former commissioner of police, R.D. Lewin, stated that when he was leaving the grounds of Jamaica House leaving the grounds, he was surprised to see who is entering the gates of Jamaica House. I don't hear him mention these things, you know.
So who was Jamaica House off limits?
Who was entering the gate at Jamaica House?
Ask Chopper.
Who was Jamaica House off limits? Huh?
Ask Chopper, him know.
No, who was Jamaica House off limits though?
Huh?
No.
Who was Jamaica House off limits though?
Well, I know it is off limits to me. I can't go in there without have an appointment.
So how do you know the person have an appointment?
I don't know.
So how
anyway, Garfield.
Corruption. I don't know if you are aware. If you are aware when a certain gentleman walked out of the steps of Jamaica House and went into a Mercedes Benz.
Garfield. Garfield.
Do you recall?
Garfield. You remember when Michael went to Cuba?
Forget about that, man. We are talking
No, forget about it.
No, man.
No. I say if you remember when Michael went to Cuba.
No, man.
No. Yeah, because this one side do those shenanigans. You remember when Michael went to Cuba?
Bruce Gordon never do it.
No. Me talk about Michael now.
Oh, you're not talking about Bruce Gordon? You're not talking about Bruce Gordon?
Did you have Federal Map going to Cuba with Michael?
I asked you a question if you're not talking about Bruce Gordon.
Did you have...
When Hillary Clinton fly to Montego Bay and said...
Did you have Boy?
What was Bruce
Did you have Boy going to Cuba with Michael?
Hold on. Because I'm really surprised at the level of anecdote people dwell on, you know. What is about Bruce going on Hillary Clinton?
I asked you a question when Hillary Clinton was in Montego Bay and she sent called Bruce Golding. What was Bruce Golding's response?
Who was Hillary Clinton?
Well, you can't ask questions like those, man. You have to deal with things that is in the public domain.
Huh?
Who was Hillary Clinton?
The Secretary of State.
So the Secretary of State fly into a sovereign country and summon the Prime Minister?
Didn't that happen? Is the first ever heard that?
First I'm hearing it.
You have never heard Bruce Golding say that if Hillary Clinton, you have never heard that Bruce Golding says, I am the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And if the Secretary of State want to meet with me, she needs to meet me at Jamaica House. You never heard that before?
Never heard that before.
I never heard that.
Did you ever hear Bruce Golding say? Did you ever hear Bruce Golding say the laws of Jamaica don't stop at the Ligani plane?
Yes, he said that in Parliament.
Yes, and
he said that.
But what's the point you're making? What's the point you're making?
Hold on. Chopper, I asked you this question. Are you aware at any time that Hillary Clinton flew into St. James, the Montego Bay Convention Center?
Not the convention center. She flew into the airport.
She flew into the airport, right?
She had stop over here.
She stopped over to meet with the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
No, she stopped over to meet. No. She stopped to meet with her charge of the affair.
Okay, and they wanted to speak with.
No. That nonsense.
Let me ask a question again. Let me ask a question again.
Nobody can meet
when Bruce Golding gave his speech at Jamaica House when he stepped down from government. You remember where Bruce Golding was coming from?
Where was coming from?
Yeah.
I couldn't say where it was coming from.
Jamaica House.
Well, Garfield, I think you're going off on a side show.
No, I am not. No,
you're going off on a side show. Because you're asking all the questions and you're not providing no answers.
You mentioned to me.
You can't ask any question. You can't make up any story. I don't know where you're talking about.
Michael Manley. You paint an image of Michael Manley. And also, Chopper, there were some guests in the audience had some questions, and we should have really put the questions on the table.
So let us ask. Let us get some of the questions.
No, make it point out what is his concern.
The concern that we have, my concern is this. You have stated that the top man in the PMP called Cuba And this man got Cuba. This man did kill Ted Gilvey. You mentioned that who this, who that from the all these corrupt practices. That is so. But I have never heard you up to this day, Dalton, as own corrupt practices of the Jamaica Labour Party henchmen. You have not owned nothing like that.
No. But you see, I speak about things that are factual, and that is in the public, and that is in the public, and that is in the public domain.
So Dudus was in the public domain.
We know that Ted Gilvey was murdered, and we know that the three men, who were wanted for his murder.
Was Dudus in the public domain?
Darlan, Garfield. Hold on, Garfield.
Yeah.
You believe in justice?
Of course.
All right. You believe that Dudus was a criminal?
The justice system said yes.
Right. And was he convicted?
No, I'm asking you. Do you believe?
Do you believe that?
In justice, yes.
And you believe that he was a criminal?
The justice system said so.
So you don't believe that he was?
Huh?
Do you believe he was a criminal?
Chopper, I have never investigated Dudus.
But you never investigate Bruce either. No, ask that question. Answer the question.
The system did.
Who was the prime minister when Dudus was sent off?
Who was the prime minister when Dudus was sent off?
When extradited to the United States.
To send Dudus off.
I'm asking who. I said who, of course. Who was the prime minister?
Edward Seaga.
No, not true. Who was the prime minister when Dudus was extradited?
No, Portia Simpson Miller.
No, I want to be clear on something here, though. Because, we find this very troubling. The Secretary of State flew into the airport to meet her charge and summon the Prime Minister.
Summon. Propaganda.
No, Chopper, check the facts.
What facts? Where is it?
You can do a public search request.
A public search from who?
Search request, Chopper.
From who?
From the information from JS.
And JS will tell me that Hillary flew into Montego Bay and tell Bruce to meet him on the tarmac. The head of a country.
Respond.
A sovereign country.
Every argument that comes out of Jamaica House is on record.
All right, folks. So if you all have some questions, for the guests, just shoot them. You're 350 deep. 350 deep. We're speaking with Garfield Reed, Michael Brown Sr., and Darlan H. Francis. I am yours truly, Chopper John West.
And Chopper, and I must say this, Chopper, if I may, Chopper, and I don't know if you allow me to do this, but I know a lot of us is listening in Jamaica and in the diaspora. And only if you allow me, I think we talk about this, Chopper, and I must tell you, Dalton, you are in Jamaica, I'm assuming, correct?
It's Darlan.
You're in Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm Darlan, yeah.
And Mr. Brown,
I'm in Jamaica,
right? Mr. Brown?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you ever want to have life insurance in a stable economy, Garfield Reed is the man can provide it for you. As long as you have a valid US visa to travel to the United States, I can get you $1 million and more in life insurance.
Chopper,
$20. You
need to pay for that ads.
No, Darlan, it's called a shameful plug. But Darlan is a good guy. He's a good insurance agent. He sells insurance, and which we support our people, and outside of the politics, we don't share the same political view. But he's a Jamaican, and he does business in South Florida. He has an insurance brokerage firm. Darlan, you're familiar with insurance as well, so it's a good kind of. I don't know if you know Garfield, but Darlan is also a senior insurance man as well.
Nice. So, congrats.
If you guys have insurance needs, check with Garfield. Get his number off here. You can type your company's information in the chat, and we will publish it out there.
I will give my number right now. 754.
We've been going at this for quite a while. But we probably should do a wrap up. But I would like to. I might have to take my leave. But I like a closing statement, uninterrupted by Garfield.
Uninterrupted by Garfield.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead, Alan. You have the floor.
No,
Let Dalton jump off.
Oh, sorry, Dalton. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've done more for Jamaica than the People's National Party. Where's Garfield?
You dropped off earlier, so start over again, please.
Yeah, okay. In closing, I just want to say that there should not be no doubt among the Jamaican people, whether in the diaspora in Jamaica, that the Jamaica Labour Party is the party that has built Jamaica, right? One of the reasons why the People's National Party are able to share power sharing time with the JLP. Because out of the 71 years that we have been independent, JLP has governed this country for 40 years. The PNP has governed it for 39. Did I say independent? Since adult suffrage. So here you have the PNP governing for 39 years, and the JLP that has built the country has governed for 40 years. The JLP, almost the major school system in Jamaica was built by the Jamaica Labour Party. Almost every water system was built by the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Hospitals were built by the Labour Party. The road network, because people seem to think that if the other day roads start building in Jamaica when PJ caused private companies to come build toll roads that Jamaicans have to pay on to drive. We seem to believe that that's when roads started to build. But roads, the Kingston to Spanish Town Highway was built by Shearer, right? It was supposed to be a 6-lane highway, but Michael criticized it and it came down to 4 lanes in certain places. We built a series of bypass roads all over the country. So road system is JLP built that. Hospitals, schools, police station, market, everything, we build it, right? Nevertheless, industrial estate, the 4 industrial estate was built by the JLP. Tinston Pen, Nance Pen, Twickenham Park, Albion, and Bourg. 5 of them actually, right? And so those are kind of building that the JLP does. And then you wonder how come the PNP can almost share equal time. And they're able to do it because they come with a series of corruption allegations when they're in opposition. Right? Starting with Michael Manley, telling them most lies, right? With the Sicali affair, where he said that Janet Giles went and signed an agreement with a British firm, right? That handwriting expert proved was a lie. Then him come with the 2 missing schools, right? Which there was no corruption there. No 2 schools were missing. It's just that there was adjustments and the amount of schools that were planned for were not. The government was not able to build it at the time. And they come and use 2 missing schools, right? And then you were able to get power on that basis. Incidentally, at the time when he was getting power in 72, he did not have a manifesto. The PNP did not have a plan as to what they were going to do with the country. They just came with 2 slogans and this raft of allegation of corruption, and that's how they got power. And they were not able to do anything for the country. The historical evidence is there. That's where our great economic nightmare started. Anna Michael, right? They came back in 89, and they did not have another manifesto. They did not have any plan. They just came with a slogan: "We put people first." And all happened after that was 4 terms of economic destruction. It was at that time that the country was finsack, and the entire financial system fell apart, right? And one of the reasons why they were able to win election, even though the economic system was falling apart, was because of their corrupt acts. They used the police in 93, in 97, and in 201. And enter Tivoli Garden, create the impression that the garden was full of, that's where it was the mother of all garrison, and it was the be all and the end all of all violence in Jamaica. And that was the impression they gave, and a lot of people bought into that. And these are the kind of lies they create, the kind of false allegation they make. And they're still coming back with those things, because that is the only basis on which PNP can win power, using false allegation. The Jamaica people is not to fall for that. They're not to fall for these false allegations. They are to be aware of it. And they need to understand one thing. The PNP has never been able to grow the economy, right? Because their ideology and the way they govern does not inspire confidence. And they will never be able to grow the economy, right? In 1990, they said they were no longer socialists and all of that and things. But the Jamaica business people know that the PNP cannot run the economy. And after they finsack the nation, bankrupt 45,000 small business, cause people to commit suicide and all that kind of thing, businesses will never trust PNP again.
Thank you.
And if people ever think they have any hope of prosperity under PNP, they better think again. The PNP cannot grow the economy. And they are not to throw away what we have now, thinking that, oh, it will be smooth sailing, they will just transform and continue. It's not like Aurelia. Not like Aurelia. The PNP will drop the button and we will lose the race. So we're not to fall fool. We're not to make them allegation of corruption confront us, confound us, and confuse us. That's all they can do.
Thank you, Darlan. Garfield. Well, Mikey. Let me give Mikey first and give Garfield.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm under no illusion that the Jamaica Labour Party is best for this country. We heard somebody said one time that we believe that it's always best for us to be in power. And anything that will cause us to be in power, we deem as necessary. I think that's a dangerous statement, because remembering what happened in the 70s and, where the 70s was characterized by violence against the people. Remember the 90s? The 90s was characterized by economic fubble-double and mumbo-jumbo and, the deliberate crashing of the economy, really. And every time that these things happen, it is the Labour Party that fixed it. I recall in 1983, when that incident was in Grenada, when Michael Manley was heckling at Mr. Siaga, Siaga said, just a minute, I have some business to take care of in Grenada. When we come back, we talk about this. And he called an election, which he was well in his right to do, because if the people are complaining that, something not right, you go back to them for a mandate, which he did. Manley didn't contest. Probably he best knows why. So, as I said, I'm under no illusion that the Labour Party is best for the country. Now, on this topic of corruption, majority of it is anecdote, because And let me tell you why I say it's anecdote. The people who are calling out corruption are people who are in position to prosecute it. Why don't they? And then I'm drawn back to the poll that came out recently that showed that politicians are most corrupt than police. No, politicians, I don't know what the second demographic was, police and JPS. And in each of those corruption, the public that was interviewed admit that they have paid police not to give them ticket. Some of them thief light. But they don't see these things as corrupt. I put it to Jamaicans that the reason for these allegations of corruption against politicians is because politicians not sue them. If it was there, it would have been prosecuted. We see the posture of Integrity Commission. Why haven't they prosecuted any corruption? So, it is not as bad as how people are making it sound. And as Darlan said, it has been a strategy that they employ successfully as well. So therefore, you will hear a lot of these things and all of that. But Jamaica is in a better place than it was even 1 or 2 decades ago. Jamaica is in a better place than it was 1, 2, or 3 decades ago. And there's no ambiguity in that statement.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Michael. That was Michael Bouncina. Garfield Reed, you have the last word, my brother.
You know, Chopper, my last word is very simple. I do believe that Jamaica can be a better society until the people of Jamaica ready to change his or her way of mind, his or her way philosophy and thinking. Instead, we are looking towards 2 political parties to guide us. I believe if we start to guide ourselves, train our mind, retool ourselves, we can be more productive in society. With that said, if we are looking for a political party to guide us, I believe a reformed People's National Party can do so. Okay? And we have seen it. The manifestation going on right now in the People's National Party is saying that better people, cleaner people are coming into the politics and seeking representational office. We see it happen in St. Elizabeth today. We see it recently take place in Portmore. Okay? But regardless what Chopper.
But what you saw in Portmore, if I may interrupt.
Well, it went with Dr. Dawes is now the standard bearer for go up against your guy, Big Rob.
With 2 offices burnt, with the office burnt to the ground?
That's what I just said to you, Chopper. We have to change
cleaner
our
people
mindset
coming in.
of
Cleaner
thinking.
people coming in.
We have to change our mindset of
That's a
thinking.
vehicle to bring cleaner people in?
What's that?
Is that the vehicle to bring cleaner people into the politics?
The vehicle, but
by
it have to
burning
start somewhere.
offices to the ground?
It have to start somewhere, Chopper.
And you said start with fire.
No, well, no. We're not going to endorse no form of criminality. Not doing
That's what happened.
Yeah, but
so you're
Chopper,
bringing in new people using criminal acts to bring them in.
Chopper, again. Chopper,
Well, I'm giving you an opportunity to withdraw Portmore.
Chopper, you don't allow me.
So Garfield, I'm giving you an opportunity.
I have no knowledge of that, Chopper.
Take Portmore out. Take Portmore out of that argument then.
No, we can't.
But if you draw that constituency in there, you have to mention what took place.
But Chopper, people will have all of the pushback.
You have to say accept all of it come with.
No, well, you have to accept, but the fact
a criminal act to burn a building down is a criminal act.
It is but Chopper, we're not endorsing a criminal act.
But you are saying that you're bringing in cleaner people, and I'm saying to you, the method used.
But Chopper, I cannot tell you.
We have to move away from those type of politics.
Exactly. I just said, Chopper, but you weren't listening. I said we have to change our mindset.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We have to change
Yes,
our
sir.
mindset, Chopper. And I
Okay.
will say this to you. If you go to South Camp Road right now, at Alpha Primary in front of Sabina Park, there's a pedestrian crossing. That's where I went to primary school. And if we, when we were in primary school, we used to come out of the gate. There used to be a railing there. And for us to cross the street, to go across where Holy Trinity is, to walk down there to Nan Street, we always walk across that pedestrian crossing in an orderly manner. Until we need to get back Jamaica in that form and fashion. And until we do that, Jamaica can be a better society. You understand? Jamaica
So you say
can
bring
be
in
a
cleaner
better
people.
society.
You say bring in cleaner people of upstanding character.
People of upstanding character.
That have never been charged, have never been investigated.
To put Jamaica first.
People that have never been charged or investigated.
Correct.
Like Ian Hales and those persons.
Well, if you are being charged before, if you are investigated before for any form of corruption, once you were proven that you were corrupt, you should step aside from the politics.
So people like Kern Spencer, Ian Hales. Ian Hales.
Step away from it, Chopper.
Okay, I'm just
Step away
asking.
from it.
Thank
if
you.
you were investigated, if it was alleged, even if you are found not guilty, and there is a cloud of corruption over your head, step away from political representation. Bring people in who are willing. Look at a guy like Apka Fitz-Henley.
Yes.
Who is a senator in the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes.
Those are people we want to represent us in
Whoa!
Jamaica. Those are those type of people we are seeking for.
Another round of applause, man.
You understand? I am telling you.
Lick them with Abka.
Well, no, but you see, Dalton, you are looking at the advantage Apta brings. I am looking at the character and the integrity of the man.
Yes.
That's what I am looking at. People need to be on both political fence. We shouldn't have nobody in our politics today that the cloud of corruption is running over his or her head. We need people, and then when we, and that's why we started out earlier, said we like to talk about Singapore, but we are not willing to walk the road that Singapore did.
Agree with you.
You understand?
Agree with you.
And that is what we need to do, Chopper.
Agree with you.
And then Jamaica will be a much better place.
Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Garfield. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, it's been a long run. And this was a run that we didn't even plan for. It happened organically. I appreciate you coming through, Darlan. Appreciate you coming through, Mikey Brown. And Garfield, as usual, appreciate you coming. Go, guys, and support Garfield Reid, his insurance business. If you have need for insurance coverage, check him out in the South Florida area. And you don't have to be in South Florida. If you're in Jamaica and you travel like myself back and forth,
we can get insurance in the United States.
A plan from him that will secure you. And he will speak more about that in another session, or you can contact him. Go ahead and give your numbers, Garfield.
It's 754-204-2498. 754-204-2498. And I represent Transamerica Life Insurance Company.
Transamerica Life Insurance Company. And folks,
249.
And folks, we know we're labor rights, but we're not as tribal as the PNP. We will support a PNP. They might not support a labor right, but we'll support a PNP. A good soldier, good youth, and if you can endorse this thing, please feel free. Gentlemen, we're gonna do this again. And the next time we do this, we will be much more organized and ready for the debate. Francis, as usual, thank you so much for coming through. And Mikey Brown, thank you so much. Garfield, we'll touch base. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night, listeners.
Yeah, man, much appreciated. Yes, folks. So there you have it. A marathon this evening. Rashima, boy, I tell you, Rashima, you are the best. Rashima, you are absolutely the MVP for this evening. Boy, I tell you. Let me see if I can kick these guys out of town. real quick. Angela, big up yourself. Kick out. And also with you, kick out. All right. So, policy distance, MVP as well. Ron Taylor, MVP. Wayne Swaby Christian, MVP. Maxine Wildman, MVP. Who is this? Maxwell Brown, NNN Tomorrow, MVP. Kenroy Thomas, MVP. O'Neill Walker, big up yourself, O'Neill. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We touch base tomorrow. Orlando Peters, big up yourself. Kenroy Wilson, who is it? JJ Mack is also in the building. Val Rose, my darling, big up yourself, big up yourself. This was a marathon. It's 250 of you guys still here hanging with us. We appreciate every single one of you. We appreciate you. And if we have 250 of you, I'm asking you to go over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the Chops Media YouTube channel, click that notification bell. That simply means every time we go live or every time we share a video, you'll be the first to get notified. So Chops Media on YouTube, all 250 of you guys, please, if you've not yet subscribed, go over there and subscribe to the channel. We try to build this out so we can start monetize these things and get some revenue, because we got to keep the lights on, keep the show going. We thank you guys for passing through. We appreciate your input. I just want to say that I believe that with the Jamaica Labour Party in power, Jamaica is doing better, and it doesn't matter what level of propaganda that goes out there, the facts will remain the facts. Jamaica has been doing better. Jamaica has rebounded as one of the best economy that rebound since COVID. We just saw the IDB and World Bank chiefs in Jamaica. These are unprecedented. The first time the new chief of the World Bank is traveling outside of his country is to Jamaica. Outside of his office country, that is to Jamaica. He was just appointed last week, and his first order of business was to come to Jamaica and look at what we are doing. These things means a lot to us. A lot of people are saying that, we now feel this and we now feel that and all kinds of stuff. But the truth is, guys, Jamaica is at a very crucial point in our history. We are experiencing, when I say growth that we've never seen before, and we have to manage this thing properly. Howard Hansen, big up yourself. Angela, big up yourself. Jean Sellars, big up yourself. Michael Coleman, big up yourself. Mikey Cole, Marcia Thompson, JJ Mack. Who else we got? We got a lot of folks up in here, man. Maxine is here. Lyrics man Ali. You had some very unpopular comments, but we're not in the business of blocking people here. We allow people to voice their opinion, but what we don't tolerate is allegations and disrespect. So if you're being disrespectful, we're gonna cut you loose. But we'll entertain all opinions. James Jackson, big up yourself. Wayne Christian, big up yourself. Marcia Thompson, big up yourself. Paul C. Distance, big up yourself. Barbara, big up yourself. Evan McDonald, big up yourself. Annette Reed, big up yourself. Dinah Barrett, big up yourself. Rosemary, aka Vash, big up yourself. Vash is in the building. I want to big up some folks over there in St. Elizabeth, in my little corner up in Burton. Big up MP Gary Slowly. That road leading from Burton all the way into Burn Savannah is being overlaid. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a big one. That road has not been done for many, many years, and we're happy to see that they are getting that road completed. We're hoping that you will make your way down to the Old Bridge side to bring back some life into that area. So big up again to MP slowly for that move. I want to make an appeal to the Minister of Water, or the minister with responsibility for water, to look into the water situation in communities like Rose Heights and some section of Salt Spring and those areas. What I have noticed is that there are significant amount of tanks in the area. In the Rose Heights community alone, Rose Heights, Green Pond area, there is quite a bit of tanks that is sitting there on the ground, huge tanks that I'm certain, if they are commissioned, would solve the water problem in these areas. There is at least 3 of those tanks sitting there, rotting away. These are humongous tanks, guys. We're calling on the minister, Mate Samuda, to take a look at them and see how best we can get these tanks rehabilitated and put back into action. I am quite certain that if that is done, the problem of water in the Rose Heights area, the Salt Spring area, the Green Pond area, those water issues would be 100% solved once these tanks are brought back into commission. So I urge the minister to take a look at it. I know the MP is lobbying for these things to get done, and we're hoping that they will be done and be done swiftly so that we can ease that water issue in these areas. Big up to Sylvan Thompson. NWC has been really dormant, and NWC to me is perhaps one of the, I don't know, people will argue differently because there are evidence of them doing a lot of stuff differently. But the truth is, in these areas, they would not get a high mark at all. But big up yourself again, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll come back again, another blockbuster discussion on political issues. A lot of persons here are telling you, bring more comrade on, man. Well, I've been saying that for quite a while, that when you balance the conversation, you tend to get a better discussion. Thank you so much, Violet, Joan, Violet, big up yourself. Thank you so much for joining. Wilburn Smith, big up yourself. Thank you so much for joining. Alex Smith, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you guys sharing the program. Tell a friend that we're on, we were live. And again, I beg of you, you're still 214 persons on. We still ask you to go over to the YouTube channel and to just subscribe and also press that notification bell. We're trying to grow that channel. We are also on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, go to Chops Media and make sure to follow us so we can continue to preach the gospel according to the Jamaica Labour Party. Peace, and I'm out.